Thanks, guys. Welcome to the close. 2 o'clock. That means 2 hours to go in very positive trading session. Nice bounce back for the markets overall, right across the board. We'll have a look at how things are doing with 2 hours to go on a Tuesday here. More than a full percent to the upside here for the S&P. 1.48, we'll call it 1.5, 1.2 there for the Dow. It is the NASDAQ and tech stocks leading once again. 2 full percent for the NASDAQ. Good look here. 0.65 for the TSX here in Toronto. You can see nice moves for Bitcoin and Ethereum. Cryptocurrencies back in positive territory this afternoon as well. Here we go. The last time I looked at this, we had a few individual names that were standing out after earnings or some sort of news event today, and then the energy group. Those are the only things of concern at this point. Everything else nicely positive. As I mentioned, it is tech stocks leading here. Semiconductors all in positive territory. MPWR, NVIDIA there leading the way, 8%. Nice bounce back for NVIDIA. Micron, 4.8%. Consumer staples, very strong, led by tech stocks, led by travel stocks, I should say. Some of the cruise lines here, Norwegian, CCL, RCL down here. 6.5 for both of these, though. Huge days for those. Ford and GM having a nice day as well, both 3+%. It's hard to tell, but that's Tesla right there. 4.7% for Tesla on the day. Wanted to mention this as well. Material stocks bouncing back. A couple of tough days for the material sector, but all back in positive territory. As I mentioned, oil lower on the positive Russian headlines this morning. So some of the energy stocks under pressure. Here's a look at the NASDAQ. I feel like that needs to refresh itself if it's going to. There we go. Yeah, it was a lot more positive the last time I looked. There we go. Semiconductors, as I said, every single one of them in positive territory. Nice look this afternoon. Consumer discretionary stocks, yeah, Airbnb set to report. There's Tesla and Lucid. Moderna down here having a nice bounce back day. 5+% in positive territory. Lots of positivity. Good to see back in the market overall. As I said, we'll have a look at a few ideas we were talking about if you joined us at 8:30 this morning. There was a number of things to consider going into the open this morning. We had positive headlines when it comes to Russia just before we came on at 8:30. That lifted the market right back to positive territory, and we just never stopped all day, right back to the upside. We'll kick things off with a look at one of the trades Neil was looking at this morning. Here comes Neil.
Yes, sir. We're going to talk a little about Virgin Galactic. Look, we could talk winners. Sometimes you have to talk about a losing trade. This is the case. For the low price of $150,000 deposit and $450,000, you will be able to book a ticket to the upper atmosphere or into space tomorrow for Virgin Galactic. Now, I want to go to a higher time frame chart to start with. This is actually a 60-minute chart, just so I could go back far enough to show you this 920 level. I've also sort of established a lower high off of this failure at $10, going back a couple of weeks, so you can see this at 950. So when you come in today, a lot of things are gapping up. Virgin Galactic is going to be one of them on that news. It's the next step for them. There is still an 11% short interest. Now, I'm not going to talk about how I was long here buying into this level and then holding it all day. We weren't. We're looking at the short trade. And it's a very particular setup that we take almost every single time it presents itself. Now, the first level, that 920, you're looking for the pop and fade. We were consolidating in the pre-market, sort of covered that up, but you can see that here after falling down, we were consolidating. There was a push higher right at the open, which is the setup I'm looking for. We take some of our shares. When it rejects at our level, we then add to our position, same price, looking for the rollover. It then breaks here. Now, this is a determination point. Like, if I'm not long here, I'm pretty much waiting for the next level. So you're going to see we take our hit. We do not go to the long side. We're still looking for a short. About the best thing you can do if you're in the wrong way in a trend, which you're going to see I'm the wrong way the entire day on the trend, is to not just get in at every single price, every single turn. Force it, get more here, try and scalp it. No, you've got to at least be looking for key prices. That's what we're going to do in this trade. And you will see it comes back. Now we're looking for only $9.50. I want to be playing off that level and then eventually $10. So if I know that's where I want to be getting in, you see it get into that break past that 50 level, just ticks up here. Actually sat out 50s and then back up towards that 10 for the first time. We actually get a scalp trade. Then we work back into some more shares. You see it break 10. That is the second place where you could have gone long. Did I go long? No. Absolutely not. I did not go long Virgin Galactic. Can't bring myself to do it. I want to go into space myself, but yet I won't go long the stock. you see it actually break 10 even, and at that point, you are just looking at 50s and even. So it comes up to 1050. Once again, it gives you a small scalp trade off of a key level, and then promptly decides to break it. The next step up from that is going to be $11. You're going to see it literally as we are speaking, going up to 11. We get in on the consolidation. When it comes lower, get the top, scalp some up for a win. We're actually sitting on the bid, trying to get some at the bottom of the range for a VWAP retracement as it's retesting the highs. Now, the key thing about this, when you're going back and reviewing your trades, it's just not to be able to say, okay, well, is there anything I could have done differently on the short side of the trade? Maybe you could clean it up a little bit, maybe not as aggressive with the entries there, maybe a little bit more aggressive with the exits there. But the other way you have to look at it was there a point at which it was obvious to reverse where I can do it in the future? And I think the key thing here is, if you look, I always talk about this, if you make a significant double bottom, sometimes you're looking for a trend reversal. A lot of these beat up names have been making significant lows here, and you had this nice double bottom at around $8, and you are breaking away from that in a defined range within that double bottom. And there's two places you could say it's breaking out. Okay, fine, maybe you could have 950 and 920, but once it's past that 10 level, that's the bottom end of the range, and you're truly in the midst of a breakout. So I'm kind of saying to myself, that was the real point at which I should have been willing to at least test a scalp trade reversal into the long. Probably still going to be involved in an 11 short, but then it gives you a little bit of a chance, not to chase the move, but to get an entry that you can set up with. So it's not always about how can you make more money in a trade. Other times it's about how can I lose less on a setup that I know I'm going to take, and how can I get into that direction if I was wrong initially in my bias. So a couple of things that we can learn from this trade in Virgin Galactic, and we know this one is going to be ready for liftoff in trading tomorrow as well.
Amazingly strong for space today, continuing at day highs, as we can see, up more than 30%. Been a long time since we've talked about space being up 30% in one day. We were talking about that in the pre-market this morning. If you joined us, as I mentioned, at 8:30, that's the link to the watch list, guys. Space Virgin on the list this morning, and why in that very tiny window that they're going to release these tickets again, and talk about selling them a little bit. We'll jump into a few things here, as I said, to kick things off this afternoon that we were looking at to start the morning off earlier today. One of those was Rivian. There's a whole bunch of 13Fs that came out, filings showing stakes in companies and different positions. Dan Loeb's Third Point with their 13F showing 4 million shares of Rivian owned. That's coming after that George Soros headline yesterday. Overall, I was looking at Disney here. We'll talk about Disney coming up. But overall, Rivian ends up being a bit of a choppy trade today, guys, back and forth.
Yeah, we were looking for, thanks, Brendan, and welcome back to the show here this afternoon as the market right now starting to go to the downside pretty heavily. We just got out of our Microsoft trade. If you guys saw early, I was in that here. Nice little bounce from 298 upside out 40s, out 70s, and then we just took an out 54 as the market started to crash. But let's talk about Rivian quickly. Yeah, yesterday we were all over this thing yesterday. As we noticed, obviously, that there was the George Soros news, and you just mentioned some of the filings coming in recently on Rivian. So it's nice to see that it's being supported by some of the big boys. So we're going to go long. And I was never really looking short here on Rivian. We took an early bid here, which was too early in the middle. We took that bid. Then it tanked down for us where we were initially waiting down near $64. So we find some key levels, hit it back to the upside. Rivian's going to be a positive name for me today. We didn't have it all the way back to 66, but just like yesterday, I don't think my trades are in here yesterday. We looked long, and that was correct as well. And then now today, the NASDAQ obviously helping the move a little bit here, being up 2%. So Rivian continues to work. And look, I like it. I think now, and I said this on the morning show, I think we might have. Yeah, and I never want to call the bottom is in on something because we don't know. But as far as investable bottoms and things like that, I mean, yeah, I think now with this good news coming the last couple of days, that it is a bottom here, maybe 57, 58. So that's what we're trying to look for in Rivian. You did have a spike down that day to 50. Everything was cracking there on the 28th. Yeah, there was January 28th. So I like Rivian. I think you have a bottom here, 57, 58. If the market pulls back a little bit tomorrow, then I think maybe I may buy some if I can get it around that $60 mark for the long-term account. So I like Rivian here. We've been going long, and sometimes you follow the money. And hey, if Dan Loeb and George Soros are both going long this name, then it's no surprise to me why the long worked.
Yeah, and look, it's the thing about Rivian. It's what I loved about it and really wanted today was one trade. Like we liked that 62 yesterday, but I was all geared up for this to break into a new range. And something like Uber, which I guess we'll talk about Uber a little bit here. I thought Rivian would do the same kind of thing. Now, in Uber, I did admittedly look for a short off a multi-day level like this, 66.5, and then a reversal when it broke. So if I had done that in Rivian, I would have had a winning short and then maybe lost on the long. But today, I just went into the long break, Rivian looking 66 half to see if it can get up to 68 and then to 69. So I like the risk to reward. I was going to give it back to the pre-market lows at $1. It just never really went, and you're not seeing it break out. So the good news for the long is, well, guess what? Even despite that flush, you're still consolidating right back into the same level. So it is still setting a nice little wedge for a potential breakout. It just might take a little bit of time here. And those 13F filings are always interesting. Sometimes it gives you maybe that extra oomph to get a stock to make a big move. But we just talked about it with sort of the space trade. For some of these beaten up names, it's like allow it to make its consolidation and break. And the truth is, even if you're late and this is able to get back above like a 71, even for like a swing, like this gets to like 80 to 85 when it runs into the next resistance. So there's some room to go on a lot of these names that are hanging out at the bottom. I'm not sure out of the water just yet. When it comes to valuation, when it comes to pressure on growth names, but you do like to see some of these both hold higher lows and then continue to try to break out. So, it was often the last couple of weeks that it was just trend shorts on just about everything, and I wasn't even really looking for many long setups because that's what the market was giving you. And we're back in today where there's certainly some long setups every single morning, which is a good thing to see.
Space chart has gone to sleep, guys. So I was going to just say, moving back towards day highs as we speak right now for space. If you missed it this morning, this was the headline that got this thing going initially. But this buy program is just relentless in this thing today. February 16th will be the day where you can pay, as Neil was mentioning there off the top, $450,000 for a seat on a rocket ship today, guys.
Brendan, the deposit's only $150,000. Right?
My bad.
So you only put up 150 grand now, and then you can re-up with the 300K later. Now, here's the thing. I'll tell you candidly, right? If they're always priced at that, it's probably never going to work. Truth of the matter, it's likely that in 2 to 3 years, if they can get this to work at that price, can come down maybe even 5. But it's an important first step for them. Even after this has happened to the stock, their market cap, I was just looking at it, was like just under $3 billion, right? Even down here. So you've got to at least show that you can take some solid number of reservations. I mean, obviously it adds up pretty quickly at 150K a pop there. But it's a first step for them. A lot of this move, I think, is just going to be, okay, it's been leaned on. There's a 10-11% short interest. So you're going to get some momentum going into it, until you actually see consistent, not even just one day what we get in tomorrow, but maybe in the next couple of weeks, and then another earnings report comes in. Then you might get some juice for this to start actually making some moves and being able to value the company in any kind of reasonable way. For now, it's a momentum play. And if it breaks 11 here, I'm going to be out. We already showed the last entry point. I haven't really jumped back into it. Like Brendan said, the algos or the buy program or whatever you would like to call it, it's just super strong right now. So I don't really see any reason to re-up unless I see on the offer big size at 11 even, and it hits that and starts to roll over, then maybe shorting it at 96 or 97 to add back in. That's the only way I'm looking at it. Otherwise, I'm just going to keep with the structure. If it breaks the top, fine. I'm not bidding till it gets back down to 1040, and we'll play the range. That could change if I see a 500,000 shares or not even a million shares on the offer or some significant size at 11, but I'm not even seeing that. Doesn't look like many people want to step in front of this train today.
No, so we just took one trade here on space and then now into a second one as we average in to the position. So you can see my average price now 80 or 79 on the short. We took the first trade off of 11 the first time, got it, didn't get a great price, got 68 and then got out at 53. We were actually waiting down here 40s, didn't print us, although I see that it would have if we would have waited a little bit longer, and which is my problem, patience. So anyways, here we go. Let's see what happens now. So there it is, and there it is. So and there's nothing to do here. It either breaks 11 or it doesn't. When it does, I'll be out, and then we'll relook at this. I mean, it will be a slightly negative stock because we didn't take enough profit there to hold back this 80. So it looks like we'll lose 20 cents on the averaged in price. Is there any size at 11? No, there is not. Size is not going to matter. 150 million shares today. This thing is gone. To me, it was just a missed opportunity, Brendan. It was about as clear as day right there when you started to get the action. We've already made a bottom. It double bottomed at the pre-market low. That's a great sign. And then you take out that high right there, 932. They're really, like I said, we had that segment, missed opportunities of the day. This would be mine, just right there. Just using the pre-market high. Forget about these wicks. Just using that one right there, 930. Easy to say when you look back and it just goes straight up. So, but again, makes that bottom there, double checks it right here at 885, and then it's just off to the races. So now we're stuck short. We have an easy out, and we hope to get a retracement back here. If we could take out, forget about this 73. If we could take this out 40s or 50s, that's kind of the number that we're looking for. So that's my take on space. I mean, again, it could be a positive stock if we got it out for flat. We just don't really want to do that.
I totally forgot about that today. So, Sean, let's add it right now. Here we go. Watch the screen. There it is at the bottom of the list there. So we'll do frustrating stocks of the day coming up, guys. So stick around. Disney here, up on some news this afternoon. They've appointed a new head of their meta work. I was going to pull up that headline there as well. Here it is. Can I grab that? I'll find it. Anyways, they appointed a new head of their media division specifically for the metaverse and what they're going to be doing with all things meta this afternoon. I mean, it's not a huge headline, but nice day anyways here for Disney. Bounced off 155, I guess, a few times.
The story for me with Disney, and look, that's, you know, okay, metaverse, Disney's poised for the metaverse. I think that's sort of been said already. But, and we talk about sometimes when you have it's not a wick bottom because we really spent 2 days below 150, but you had the breakout on earnings, and then we fell right back. The 150 break occurred in that sort of hectic afternoon back on Friday, and then you spent just the end of the day below 150. You come back in, you sort of come back in on Monday morning, and then you're breaking 150 at the open. So really, you've got like a couple of hours at the end of the week, and then you've got just some pre-market action below 150 on Disney since earnings, and then the rest is breaking out and then continuing that. And guess what we're setting up for? I'm not sure. Look, I don't know if we're going to get this break or not, but you go back to the Friday high, that's just below 155. You've kind of triple topped at 155 today on Disney. The room from here is up to like a 159, 160, whichever one you want to call it. Either way, like I think you've got the pre-market risk to 153. It's a different trade, look, taking a 153 break and giving it the full $2 when it might not make the break until power hour. Well, that might not make a ton of sense. That's set up tomorrow morning, and you take that in the morning and hold on to it. In power hour, you're probably scalping it a little bit more and having a tighter stop. But I love the setup here for Disney. It's more about the price action post earnings than anything else. It put the pullback on. They sold, the news got sold, but the rejection of that 150 area, at least in terms of breaking down below it, it sort of immediately came right back. And I like that sign. We're in a rebound Tuesday here. So Disney for power hour, 155 is a key level. There's some times where I'd be looking at something like this and saying, yeah, but why don't you just short off of it? But given the context of the way this has moved, I'd much rather be playing a long breakout on Disney. Candidly, this would look so much more gorgeous if you're taking that breakout tomorrow in the morning. Because I like the risk reward there. You're getting into a new range, but it's a trade that I want to have here today, looking at it now.
Okay, just looking to make sure I have some orders out on the stocks we need to as the market's starting to rip back upside. Oh man, it looks like that Microsoft out. Yeah, it's going to be bad right there as it hits 298.57. So we'll wait to see what that happens now. But still, some nice upside moves happening right now for Softy and for the market. Our space that we just talked about did pull back a little bit. Now we're at 1084 right now, so there is some potential here for space to pull back in. As far as Disney, I mean, Neil just did a good job there. You may want to look. I mean, this is just a metaverse thing, right? I mean, we could talk about lots of stocks, Roblox, all this. This is a change. Disney didn't perform great since their report. They ripped up to 160. We all can remember that. That was great. And then it just basically faded right back down in. So we got to watch out for some of these plays in here on Disney, but it did bounce off the 50-period moving average, which just happens to be at 150. So I think you can just continue to trade Disney the way you like to and be happy with it down near 150. I mean, I think that's going to be a good reload spot for anybody looking to trade Disney. That's what I'm looking to do. If we can get some longer trades down here, great. We did miss this bottom. But again, making some moves. I like it. Disney, the thing about the metaverse and Disney and things like that is like they already have such a great experience and such a good foothold on the younger generation as far as like our kids or kids like sub 10 years old. So if they can do anything in this space, they already have the distribution network, which is going to be Disney Plus, and then they have the theme parks, and forget about content. I mean, content is all over the place. And then let alone that, the metaverse also, very, very important thing, Neil, sports. I mean, they have ESPN and ABC and a lot of these deals already in the pipeline. So yeah, man, I'm a big Disney supporter here at these levels, and I like what they're doing with the metaverse. I mean, a lot of people mock the metaverse, and that's fine. I think there is some funny things about it, but at the same time, it is going to be a push. So hey, Disney getting new hires, getting their ducks, I guess I should say mice, in order here with Mickey and whatnot, to get ready for the metaverse. So I like this move. I think it's a positive step in the right direction. Nothing like getting ahead of the curve if they can. But we've seen, though, the metaverse is not, for right now, a profitable venture. So keep that in mind when thinking about some of these levels.
Yeah, I mean, not a huge headline, but nice positive day. Good to see some of these stocks holding up nicely after the past couple of weeks. Let's go back to Microsoft here, because a few people are still mentioning Microsoft. We had big tech on watch again today, making decent moves the past couple of days, but Microsoft was leading in the pre-market, continues to show relative strength versus the rest of this group overall.
So I'm going to talk about Facebook, Meta. We were just saying metaverse. I'm still calling it Facebook. Look, it's going to be a hard habit to break. So you see, I go back and forth with Square, Block, and what I'm supposed to say, and it's still FB, so I'm going to say Facebook over and over again, and that's their problem. But I liked the 216 today. I sort of opened up this morning when we talked about big tech, and I might have said this yesterday, that I was looking for another bottom to get made in Facebook. So I'm not really happy with the way that I trade. I'm not down on the stock. And this is going to show, like, yeah, I'm not going to be down when my chart looks like this, but I'm not happy with the way that I traded Facebook today. Because we were looking for that sort of post-earnings, hold a double bottom. And this is 215 down here, 16, 15, and then right late in the day, you guys are going to remember this, like we had that one candle break of 216 that immediately came back and held 16s. So at that point, it's established 15 as the bottom. Now, I know I like 216, and we did wait for 216 for an entry point, but sometimes you get anchored to a number, and you can call it lazy, it's lazy, or whatever you want, but it's then just throwing the stop at the even dollar without actually taking the time to zoom out, go over the levels once again. Don't just think that you have it all in your head and you got it all figured. That's what I did, because then I ended up stopping out, which in and of itself wouldn't be the end of the world, because I could have still stopped out and then watch this happen. Okay, well, that's fine. It still bounces off of 215 here, but if I'm paying attention and remember that's the level I should also be looking to next, I can then be in on this consolidation, or more importantly, in on this break right here. So it consolidates, higher low, reestablishes 216, and then breaks at 216.40. That's the exact same long that I would have had before. So I'm not mad that I stopped out at 16. I'm not mad that I didn't go long at 215. I'm more upset at the fact that I wasn't back in right here at that moment so I could capture this move. And then now we're exactly at the target that I mentioned this morning, which is out in front of 220. So sometimes we go over these because it's like, oh, this is a trade that we missed. This is why. I'm not even saying there was anything wrong. I actually don't mind the way that I treated that initial long position. It's more about the fact that I should have been back into this. It had all of the conditions of a failed breakdown, in which case when it reestablishes that level, if I still like it, I've been waiting for Facebook for a while, then I should be long that trade. Now, I'm not going to look for any shorts in Facebook today. I know we have, I mean, Biden's speaking at 3:30. Who knows what the hell that's going to go? But I'm not really looking to fade this. And now that we've made that double bottom, either we're playing off that long, we can catch some dips. Otherwise, there's other things that we can short off the high. It's not going to be Facebook for me. But that's the only big tech that I actually look to actively trade today. Well, I mean, I missed AMD. I never got into AMD today. I was looking at that one.
Yeah, for me, something very, very similar. It's just been softy. Only one name to look at for me today, and you can see there's no purple marks here, so maybe my bias in Microsoft has kicked in here as we just go long today on the name. But of course, we're up 2% on the NASDAQ. We like Microsoft today, and why not? We talked about it on our sticky note trying to defend 300. We did give some levels down at 298 that we really liked as well. So here's how we traded it. You know, longs, defense. We did have one stop right there off that long, but we bought it straight back, long. And I mean, everything makes sense to me today, including getting out when it starts to break lower. So, I mean, that we should still be in this, and it would be $1 now instead of just taking 60 cents there. But the last time we bought was right in here, 298 flat, using 297.50 as our bumper. So, I like Microsoft. It's at these levels. I think it's a big cap tech name that's pretty safe here. They've recently obviously invested in that ATVI. They spent some cash on that deal. There's some Warren Buffett news about ATVI and that he liked it as a value play down there, down near 60. It looks like it's going to get off the books at 90. So that's a nice win. And look, Microsoft just keeps on working. I mean, it is a good name, and I think it's a good investable name. You can see we're above the 200 period with some support down here at 290 basically. So, I mean, it's really at 288, but down here, it's a good name. We'll keep pushing the long. But remember though, I mean, you can easily, we were just here yesterday, 290, 292. So don't think that, it's in the clear to go to the upside. The NASDAQ being up 2% definitely helps. It's just the moves, this thing could fall, just badly. So just like it can go up, it can easily just start taking out levels again. So we'll be as conservative as we can on any of these big tech longs. The best of the best though, Brendan, continues to be AAPL, still hovering at that 172, up the same as the market today. Beautiful moves up on Apple and continues to honestly hold these levels, man. We're still at the 50 period, unbelievable run for Apple. And I think that this is the greatest tech stock that you could probably own in market uncertainty like we have right now. So Apple continues to work. That's my big tech cap winner, big cap tech winner of the last couple months, without a doubt, is going to be Apple.
Yeah, just noticing another one on this board. Netflix, guys, just made a day high, up big time as well, 2.8 right now, but coming back in a little bit, 407, 401, I guess, held early on this morning, but big day for Netflix as well. Let's talk about Roblox. Not really a crazy trade today, but Roblox definitely higher on the volume scale today going into earnings. Remember, aftermarket tonight along with Airbnb. The two big ones anyways today, guys, Roblox and Airbnb.
What a mess.
Airbnb.
Wow, Brennan, way to change my mood real quick right there. I had just joking, of course. I had no idea that Roblox pumped like this. Give me a break. We have it all on the sticky note, guys. You guys remember the show from the morning. We obviously love ourselves some Roblox there. And yeah, unfortunately, we don't have the trade that we want, and that would be to be pushing this long. We talked about 68 on the sticky note, defending that level. Unfortunately, it just kept on going. And we're like, okay, we're just wrong, on this, which we've been wrong lots of times before, but today we weren't. It's just, we got out way too early, unbelievable, pushing these longs. This is the only negative name that I have on today, and we're up huge here. So I don't have any, my lowest, this just goes to show you that my style of trading might not fit yours. It might not fit Neil. It might not, you got to trade your own book there. If I had just a longer term, how we would be in this name huge and up. And how long term am I even talking about? 2 hours? So sometimes you got to be a little more patient with these names. I'm learning my lesson, trust me. And me with patience, I feel is going to be pretty dangerous for myself. So hopefully we can keep that attitude and try to hold on to these things a little bit longer. But definitely Roblox was just too scary for me this morning when the market was teetering. Because remember, Roblox was heading down and the market was holding steady. So when we come in and it's $71 and then I'm trying to defend 67, it's straight down in a a positive NASDAQ. So that definitely tricked me. You win today, Roblox. And you continue to always win because in about a week, I have multiple dollars coming out of my account to fund my kids' Roblox. So, hey, Roblox, you win, and you have earnings tonight, and I'm a shareholder, so I'm excited.
So a few things here. One, Spen is I'm actually having a side conversation with Spen in the chat here, which is a really good one, because he's saying, you guys are spending sometimes you spend more time talking about going over the rule breaks and lamenting. If you got to do what works for you. I know for myself, if I break a rule or do something dumb, I will then spend more time talking about it because it's a reminder for me. One of the reasons I talk about eating pastries all the bloody time is because I know if I acknowledge the fact that I have a weakness for it, I'll probably do better in the future. Not so much today with the baklava, Tim, but thank you very much. But you've got to find what works for you. And if you're a person that doesn't want to dwell on, I got to review my losses before I review my wins, then that's fine. Sometimes maybe you want to go over your winning trades, sort of how you can make more money and start from that standpoint, get you in the right frame of mind, and then have a different approach to managing your losses or going over them. You just got to find whatever makes you a better trader. In Roblox today, I'll echo your sentiment because I know when we talked about the morning show, there was a list of names that we showed the range from yesterday, and we're like, if it retraces down, you want to be buying. And I said, we're talking about AMD with this. Rivian never quite got there. Lucid was an example as well. And I completely wrote off Roblox when it made that drop. It went so rapidly into before the open and then at the open into that level that by the time it consolidated, I was already looking at 3 or 4 other things that had set up and then never got to that trade. And that's going to happen to you. That is the opportunity cost sometimes of looking at multiple names. Is when something crazy like this is happening, either you're looking at Roblox as it's cratering, looking to catch that bottom or looking to make that bottom, or you found something in which might be a little bit more calm, it's making more sense to you, and then that's what you're at in the open. So I tend to have at least 6 to 8, maybe even more names that I'm looking for key levels off of the open, and I don't necessarily know which one it is that I'm going to get into. Once Roblox fell like that, I have to admit it came off that list. And sometimes you get those frustrating stocks for you. I found this wasn't one for me. It could have been. I think tomorrow is going to be fireworks for this name, especially given the fact that you have a good chance to break out of what has been a pretty, as much as a $4 or $5 range on a $70 stock can be stable, it's been a pretty stable range the last couple of days, and there's no chance you're still here tomorrow.
Let's go on to the inaugural edition of frustrating stocks of the day. The past couple of days, I have to say, there's been a few because the market's really not picking a direction yet. Yes, we're up, but we gap up this morning and have done nothing but go back and forth all day long. So stuck in a range for a lot of these names, guys. So let's go. What's your frustrating stock of the day today?
Okay, I didn't even realize this was here. So
it's on the board. No,
I know, but we talked about it, and it's this is the thing. I talked about wanting to do it, and then it comes up, and I'm like, Okay, let's go over to Palantir. I trade Palantir every single day, Brendan. So we'll talk about Palantir, frustrating stock of the day. Normally, I'm in this name, and normally I love these bottoms. So when we're going to look at Palantir, and I'm going to talk about it because of this move right here, but this was something that's on the sticky note today. And you know what? I wrote down, get long close to 13. So we wrote that on the sticky note here. And then to me, it's how much more closer do we need to get today? Forget it, that's a 20-minute chart. Down here for the 1 minute, we got as low as today 1340. So, I mean, if you look at yesterday's bottoms, 1325, whether or not we're going to see those bottoms, I mean, the NASDAQ was up. This is why it's frustrating. The NASDAQ was up, 1.5%, 1.7% pretty much most mornings. So, do I expect Palantir to drop all the way down to yesterday's close? No. So I should have not been waiting in this area, waiting a little bit higher, and I'm always defending the 50s, right? And so I'm a little bit frustrated because I should have got long Palantir right here at 1350. Everyone knows I talk about this stock enough. And then all of a sudden, again, it makes these bottoms at VWAP right there, and then it gets some sort of a CNBC bump or something like that, right about 1250 and takes off. So I feel like although I don't think it's like my missed opportunity from like making a lot of money, because honestly, you guys know if I was averaged in, if I'd gotten in here at 1350, they would have came out at 60, then we would have got some out here. I would have been like, oh, pre-market high, but at least we would have been trading it and been into it. So for me, it's my most frustrating stock of the day, and I'm going to put that on Palantir, because normally, man, I have ideas and we go through with them, but today on Palantir, we missed that one.
Yeah, it's like the day you don't buy the dip on Palantir.
Exactly.
It's the day it does that. I'm actually in Palantir. We're not going to talk about that. I just showed you guys Virgin Galactic, so I'm not going to use that. I showed you guys Facebook not getting back into the long, but really the frustration for me today was an overall theme that I couldn't put into a trade. And it was going to be AAL and CCL. In the morning show, we talked about how, okay, the tensions had eased up with the Ukraine, so it was sort of back to square one worrying about the Fed, at least in the short term, and then maybe things would calm down. And that might be better for travel names and those reopened names, which are benefiting from the slowdown in COVID, than it might be some of those growth names. So I was much more prepared and liking the notion of a long in AAL and CCL than I was in some of the long. I mean, I ended up with an Uber long. I ended up looking at Facebook, and there were all sorts of tech names, but that's not how I opened the show with my overall sentiment in the market. Now, admittedly, when this gapped up, I was looking for a long. It was just so light volume. I was looking for a long off the low, and I was sitting at 1806 right here off the pre-market bottoms, and it missed it by 5 cents. So a lot's happening at the open. I missed that fill. There was still all kinds of opportunity to catch it when it either retook the former pre-market high at 25s or simply just broke back out at 1835. I mean, we could go back and look, but I know what I was saying, that when you break out from this level, you've got room to $19. So, you don't have to be stuck to the notion of 1806. I mean, 18.25, 20 cents when it's got a room to go for the next dollar, that's perfectly fine. It's definitely a trade to be had. And sometimes this can happen to you where you have an idea for the direction of the trade, and ultimately, sometimes you just have to be able to say, okay, well, where's my stop out? Is it a reasonable entry when I've missed out on the initial move and I didn't get my first fill? Is it a reasonable entry with my 18 stop, taking it up here at 1836? Sure, it feels like you're chasing it, but 40 cents worth of risk when we're looking at $19 as a potential top to the upside, that's still valid. And sometimes it's as easy as saying, still valid, take a position. Maybe you only take a third or a quarter because you're a bit further away from your price, but you still got to get into it at some point. And I was unwilling to chase. I hate chasing. I tend to be conservative in that regard. Like, I would much rather, a lot of times you'll see me in the counter trend trades because it's giving me a clean entry to the level at exactly the price that I want oftentimes. And that's an appealing thing because then it's easy to be disciplined. But this is a case where I kind of knew what I wanted directionally more than anything else to the long side, and I just never found my way into the position once I missed the initial fill. So, maybe you can call it chasing or not, but it was still pretty valid to at least take a third here in AAL. Wish I'd done it, but the whole point of this is that woulda, coulda, shoulda.
I'll add one more quickly here, guys. Maybe an entire sector. It's been a very slow and frustrating start to the year for small cap stocks. KAVL today was back to this high. Past couple of days stopped right at 3 on a dot and turned around. The only reason, the first attempt I had at this got stopped at hey, guess what, 3. The only reason I end up getting this fill is because I was watching as it came up to 340, and there was massive size that showed up on the offer at 340. I mean, 900,000 shares showed up at 340, and this thing just immediately collapsed back down to 3. Rode 3 all day long. There was a bid that stepped up, so I took some offer dead flat, and then it finally breaks back down to 280. So a frustrating stock for me today, KAVL. Should have been up way more on that. Positive, but should have been up way more on KAVL today. But anyways, those are our frustrating stocks for today. Let's talk about finding stocks to trade. One of the most common questions we get is, how do you know what to trade day in and day out? We're going to give you a few tips here on how to set yourself in the right direction every single morning when it comes to short-term trading. And we're going to focus on very, very short-term trading. And I'll start things off, guys. The key here is going to be volume. We need things that are active in the pre-market.
Yes, you definitely want something active.
All right, he did it all, so we're done.
I know.
Like, wrap it up.
Step 2 on that, of course, is I find you want to find something that either is or has the potential to get into a new trading range, right? And then, look, it doesn't always have to be a breakout. The example I'm going to show you was a break out of a range, but it's not necessarily to the upside. And it's just Moderna from a couple of days ago. So, under pressure, you had the CEO, look, talk of the CEO deleting Twitter and some other nonsense for a catalyst, and you had some volatile pre-market action. But where you had the action is what's important to me. When I pull up the 15-minute, is it at a key level? Here is what 156 looked like the week before the news. Support, once broken, ran away from that price to the tone of $10. When it broke back to the upside, ran away from that price on one day $8, and then making a double top here, another $12 off that high. So what it tells me is that once we get away from that 146 area, it's got some legs to it. And that's what was appealing about the stock that day. And I'm telling you this from the standpoint of I was watching 2 or 3 names that morning, and Moderna was one of them, but I wasn't aggressive enough with it. And I think when I look back at the different setups, they both were entering breakout ranges, but the potential for move was larger in Moderna. And in retrospect, that's why I should have chosen it. So the potential for something to break and then have a monstrous gap that it can start to fill in here. And if it had only gone down to like a 148 or even a 152, those are still fantastic trades for you. But it's catalyst. It's also something breaking out of a defined range to give you potential upside.
All right, yeah, you just used the word catalyst, and I'm going to keep it as simple as I possibly can. And I have a sticky note, but how do I get to this is really the question. You can follow it at TraderTV Sean, check the sticky note every day, but the question really is that how do we develop this sticky note? And I just do it, from our watch list, because, any kind of story that might be happening in the AM, obviously, as Brendan said, will come with news. But let's just throw on our earnings report, our earnings calendar. This is honestly really all that I look at. So I sort of look at this an earnings report similar to this, and this one doesn't have too many names on it, but I'm familiar as a shareholder with restaurant brands right there in the middle, or Marriott, trying to figure out what am I looking for, and it's not to get into their report and figure out, oh, what does Marriott expect? What are the bookings like? What is this? What is that? It's more about hey, is there something that I want to trade that makes some sense for me today? And Neil was just talking about stuff. What about Virgin Galactic? They came out with a bookings report, and you're seeing today up 33%. So here it is, right? I missed the trade early, but again, because of the percent that it's up, because it's doing 153 million shares, we can find some key levels. Look at it taking off here today. So it's about finding the news, and then Brendan said volume, but look, when we came in today at 7:30, 8 o'clock, 8:39, it wasn't doing 153 million shares, but it was doing some volume here in the pre-market, and we knew there was news. So you kind of just got to put it all together. I look at earnings, I look at our watch list, and basically, Twitter is full of information, right? You can find Brendan, myself, Neil, join us in a chat. Join your favorite sort of chat groups. Look for watch lists. And I just think if everybody else is watching it, you don't need to follow the herd, but that is a great place to start. So look to see what everyone else is trading, and honestly, just see if it makes sense for you, because that's the key.
That leads perfectly into one more point, and that is relative volume, guys. And Sean, you mentioned, space wasn't doing 100 million shares in the pre-market, but if a stock typically trades 50, 100 shares pre-market, and it's doing 100,000 shares in the pre-market, that is the key. So understand relative volume. What does it normally do at that time versus what is it doing today? So there we go. A few tips, guys, on how we can find better stocks to trade every single day. Let's talk about Boeing here. I wanted to mention Boeing making some moves a little bit on headlines that came out a little bit earlier, but positive day nevertheless. But this came out, worth a note here for Boeing. Guys, we could throw that up. Thank you. So the FAA to conduct final inspection of the new 787 Dreamliners. So Boeing, overall, that's still KVL. But I was going to mention Boeing overall is still positive today.
Yeah, look, I'm actually pretty happy.
The market's tanking right
Yeah,
here.
the market's starting to roll over. So I'll get to Palantir in a quick second. I'm pretty happy with Boeing. Sort of, I was about to say holding up and making a nice strong move. And again, sometimes you're talking about these bottoms, and I look at that 219. So you want to see it run away from that level. Now, if we pull back here because the market just started to make a little bit of a slight downturn, you also have this key breakout price at 216 for Boeing. And look, I just want to point these out. I like it when there's multiple times when we run away from a level. So 216 both held when we pulled back at noon. It was also the breakout of the pre-market high. It was also the breakout when it made that recent push to 223. So that's that break right here. And it's all at that same level. That's what a significant price is. It's not. Sometimes it can be a long consolidation, but if it's not going to give you that, then I want to see just explosion through a particular price, and then you can get some price action off of that. Just to come back, because I think you were just mentioning there, Sean.
You did it again, man. You said explosion with Boeing. We always say that.
I mean, not to use that term.
No, I know. That's why I said it. It's like this one here, come flying in, and then all of a sudden it's like.
I've been good with
that one. The plane actually doesn't crash, so we can use. We can.
But I've been good about not using
safe landing.
And I think I made that mistake talking about Astra the other day, but at least
right.
But nobody, look, man, nobody lost any lives in the Astra.
that was good.
In the Astra crash, and obviously we don't really ever mean that, but Palantir I wanted to get to because I was looking at Palantir. Well, I was not looking at Palantir until Trader Prad was yelling out that there was a volume spike on it, so I saw it make this move, and so the first thing I did is zoom out, Prad. Zoom out to say, okay, is this a significant level when it got to the 14 high? Immediately recognized that the answer was not really. So somebody jumped on the offer on 14. So, okay, I'm like, I'll take a few shares there, knowing that it was going to be 14.20. You just go back to last week's top. So I took a few shares at 14 with the 50,000, with the 500,000 seller that was there. And then when it got to 420, added to the position. I've done nothing until it broke back below 14, just now getting some. 420, it's 14.20. Anyways, thanks, guys. They got some out back when it broke 14. Got a few more shares that were in the mid-90s, and now I'm waiting down around here. This is about 1385 pre-market highs. That also happens to coincide with VWAP here. So if we get back down, just a bit of a retracement play. But the market, after kind of looking like it was making a turn,
what is going on here?
It's right back towards the highs, man.
Brendan, is there anything here? I know Brendan's working hard over there because I don't see anything, and I see some Chuck Schumer news, and I always think about when former President Trump was calling him Chuckles or something like that. That was just so stupid. But
Chuckles, isn't that like a clown?
Yeah, that's why he was doing that. It was just funny.
I'm trying to think of the show or the movie though.
Every time I see him, isn't it a sitcom? Or something? I'm feeling like that Chuckles is from something.
That's gonna bug me for a while now.
Yeah. Anyways, well, someone will have it there on the chat, but that always comes to my head. Like,
I know it was the Fresh Prince, the episode with it was the clown and then whatever with the judge and
yes.
Yeah, wasn't he Chuckles and he took them hostage.
Chuckles? I don't know. Anyways,
I think I got that right.
But that's why I was thinking it was a sitcom. So
I'm usually good with that.
Not The Simpsons. That's not Krusty the Clown. But okay, let's just go on this one. So I don't know what's going on right now, but that's when I see Charles Schumer just talking about Democrats looking at plans to lower consumers' costs. That might rally. I mean,
what are they going to do to actively tackle inflation?
I don't know what the plan would be there. I mean, I think they could cut taxes on gasoline, maybe. Imports, I don't know, to help people for groceries like milk and dairy imports and taxes and levies and lumber. I don't know, steel maybe. I don't know. We'll see what they're going to do. But hey, that's what the government's supposed to do, right? Figure stuff out. So we'll leave it to them.
And then have to borrow more money because
Yep. And then build up. And then what is the debt now? A couple $100 trillion?
Not even going to get into why that's like if inflation is going to last longer, why that absolutely does not work and is just sort of like I get it. It's going to help some people,
close for comfort,
but it's not going to be one of those things that actually is much of a long-term solution. But
bags of milk, yeah. What's up? That's how I know that Dan Duval right now is Canadian because our milk is bagged. So we don't have like a gallon of milk. We actually have bags of milk. You put them in a milk.
You can get it.
You can't get it. Yeah. You go to like a convenience store or something. You put it into like a bag there. So all right, let's move on from that. So right now, I almost used my frustrating stock of the day here as space, but we are short, and it wouldn't be for missing this. It would be for not getting out right now. So like I was short here at 80, or I still am. The thing went to 66 here and we didn't do anything about it. And that was this past level right here. So this time we do stick a bit in and it's in the high 70s. Well, not that high, 1 penny away from that high. So if you can get the price, then you win nothing. But right here, we're going to see if it fills one more time back down in. So we do want to get out of some space. Look, I think this thing dumps. I have a bid there, and I have a bid in the 50s, which is down here on space. And then I think we retest. Honestly, why not retest 10? Neil and I were talking about a theory here on space. Like, what if you do not swing this one? That's first off.
No.
And it's going to go based on what I'm saying right now. Do it if you want to. I just worry that what if they don't get the reservations that they were hoping for, you know? And then all of a sudden, man, like if you don't have a company that obviously makes no money, if they can't get the future revenues that they were expecting, and I don't know what they're expecting, but if they can't get like, you know, $100 million, or again, I'm throwing out numbers, it could be way off here, in reservations, then they're not going to be nice stock to trade tomorrow. So I definitely worry about that. And I feel like with that rhetoric right now, I'm actually going to I'm canceling my 50 bid, which would be right here. That's how far I think this thing's going to fall.
I'm taking 50.
I mean, I take a 50, but let's just see if it comes back down to the downside right now. We could retest VWAP. Obviously, if the market goes up and it's struggling up here and I have to take a 50 near the end of the day, then I would do that. I mean, I'd be doing backflips if this thing would drop down now 40 cents from here. But I think we're going to get taken out on the high side. But that's why it's frustrating for me, because I had an opportunity and I would have only taken out a third. That's what I have sitting here right now. So it's just, could have made some opportunity. It's like an opportunity cost lost right there, because we could have been out and then maybe even reloaded back here. But I don't want to put on more shares, as I'm wondering why it hasn't fallen yet. So right now, Virgin Galactic for me is a short. We're in it. And I'm bidding 70 and hoping to at least get a 50, if not back down here into the 30s.
I did the same thing. I didn't take more out there. And it was after it hit it 3 times, breaking 50, that I finally actually got a bid out there. And I kind of feel the same way. Now, the market, we just saw that whipsaw action and retesting the highs. So we usually go over all of our positions. We're like 50 minutes in, and I haven't talked about Uber. And there's a little bit to unpack with this trade, because sort of like, and we're going over, Roblox was a similar setup to this. And there was, the short to a potential breakout style trade. Rivian was the same thing. I only went long in Rivian, but today on Uber, I just like the look of that 36 for a pop and fade the way it's set up. Maybe you get back down to 34 where there's support. A 34 break would be huge. But when you have that long of a consolidation on a higher low, so you had the 1 wick bottom, then holding that 34 level with so much room to run. Above 36, it was a simple reversal. And I'm still sitting in this trade, and just flipping the direction that I like. So, first we're willing to roll into a short, scalp some out, re-engage back in the trade. But once it broke, it was a long and only a long. Initiated the position on the break. It then dipped. It actually gave me some VWAP. It was scalp every 50 cents. I did trail some when it looked like at one point it was a hard move to the downside, and the market looked like it was going to put a reverse line. I ended up trailing some out here. I don't necessarily think we're going to get 38s anyway, so that might end up being a pretty solid out. But now I want to be holding into the close just to see if we can break 37. Let's maybe push back into this 37.50 area where I'll have my last target for Uber. And this is what I was getting at with Virgin Galactic. Like, sometimes in your prep, and Space is a stock that I looked at and looked at levels and prep this morning, and the same thing with Uber, and it came to the conclusion, this is where I think it's a reversal. Well, I don't know that I did that much diligence on Virgin Galactic other than I want to be fading it, because usually that's what ends up working for me. So that can be a bit lazy when you have a bias which usually pays you off. And in this particular case, I was able to find that, okay, but above this price, I shouldn't be fighting it. If it takes that multi-day level out, then I should just be flipping into the long. And the same thing could have been said for $10 on Virgin Galactic. There really isn't much of a difference between those two things. And sometimes that's what you got to do, going over it. And yes, I might harp on it, but I feel like it makes me better and more accountable to some of those styles of trades. Speaking of this market, Palantir is a weird one, man. I don't usually trade this. I know Sean, you watch this stock all the time. But I find what's strange about the stock is it'll break what looks like a pretty big level and then pretty much instantly go sideways. So if you look at the previous high, this is about 13.95. It makes a 14 break. It breaks 14 down, then takes out 95. And the second it gives a fill at 95 and starts hitting that level, it then immediately starts barcoding, as if it's just there's somebody waiting to just pick it up when it gets to that price over and over again. And now they're just holding this 95. Now maybe it breaks and goes to VWAP, but it's been, what is this, like over 15 minutes when it looked like this was a clean rollover trade, and we're still waiting on Palantir to go. So I think there's obviously some buyers on this one today. It's working for now, but I can't ignore the fact that this is looking very strong going into earnings. It can't be a loser at this point, but I also don't want to give everything back, as it might break 420 today. 1420.
Yeah, I'm just more glad that someone else is feeling the Palantir frustrations today, because, and I don't know why I continue to trade that name when I always have. What's up, 420? Why? When I always have similar experiences to that, Neil, on that stock. So, yeah, I'm glad it's you and not me, but I wish we could all win on all of these trades. PLTR, it's the 17th for Palantir. So we'll watch out for that. That's the 15th today, 16th, 17th evening, I believe. Is Palantir? Could be in the AM. I'm trying to think the last earnings report. For some reason, I'm thinking it was in the AM. So maybe it's 17th AM. We'll find out.
I definitely don't know.
We'll find out. Well, they're on it. Correct, Brendan says. You are correct. So is it in the morning? Yeah. Woohoo! Right there, yeah. So we'll go, yes, sir, Superman, because Miss V and Brendan with the earnings reports there. So thanks, guys.
Put you on the spot. Do you prefer trading earnings if it comes out in the morning or aftermarket?
Honestly, really no preference.
I have a strong preference to aftermarket.
Yeah, because you could see the levels.
Yeah.
I was going to say, yeah, maybe the aftermarket, you'd be able to see it. But again, I feel like in pre-market, like they come out like 7:30, 8, so we should be able to.
The other problem is you get conference calls during market hours, which
multiple problems.
I can't actually. Well, anyways, I'm not even going to get into it. I just kind of feel like, why would you even allow that?
Well, now that I think about that, yeah, I mean, you would prefer to have it. I never thought about that, and I actually, but more importantly though, and we talk about this all the time, like I don't know my performance based on one versus the other. So I don't know, but now
I should never trade during a conference call. That's
right. I know that. Yeah, you had that Wells Fargo that one time. All right. As we ramble on, it is now approaching the power hour. Let's see if we can get a hit from Ms. V or Brennan or whoever that was. What's up?
UPST, guys. I was just double checking. Yeah, it is tonight. So Upstart reports tonight just fell off a cliff. I forget who it was, but wasn't there was one last week. Oh, it was a firm reported mid-session. Not saying there's earnings out, but that was a lot of volume that just came in through 100 there for Upstart.
Well, the second you said a firm,
it's like not saying, right? It's
I know.
Just saying, not saying.
That is a big volume.
What the hell just happened, though? So obviously there is, and this is, again, we always talk about having the benefit of someone on the desk, but you guys also have that benefit too. So we are literally real time. 2:50, my time right now, 2:50 here in Toronto, Ontario, Canada, 2:55, 30, 31, 32, 33. So that's what we're at. So if you want to know if you are delayed or not, we do have the clock on the bottom right. But again, YouTube, we just push it out as real time as we can. So find out with your YouTube provider there and or internet provider if you feel like you are slow on that one. Yeah, I don't know. Someone just said it there. What's up, Henry Z? Brenda with the freshest fade in the game. Like, how does every day Brendan's hair, not only does it look like more crisp.
Because he styles it every day.
It's like, styles it fine, but it's like boom, boom. Like, Brendan is just like all over this. And it's honestly, man, it's like great to have him there, but he definitely makes us look.
He's styling on him.
Definitely makes us look, pretty shady.
Which is all of us.
Go ahead.
If I had to make a guess here,
sure.
And this is obviously a guess because there's no they didn't release the numbers as far as we can tell here, but you have seen, and I'm looking at you, Qualcomm. There's been some upsize options bets being made in this earnings season, and you've seen the result of that. Not just in trading in the last couple of hours going into the close before earnings, but then just the way that some of these names behave. So my guess is you probably just had some kind of crazy options action, which might have caused this kind of a reaction in the stock. Because the last candle on volume, it just got bought right back up to 103. Usually the way I would prefer to play this is the first direction that it goes. I'd rather be fading it off a confident level, which would be all the way back up at a 105. It wasn't necessarily on my radar to watch at 350, but I promise you Upstart is on the list to watch for the imbalances today. That goes without saying. Just coming back to a few things, I know we're talking about the market like it was sort of pulling back there, and then we said, no, now we're heading to try to break out. This is what's going on in the NASDAQ. We're up 2%, but we're right on the highs of the day. So that's the alert. It's like, hey, if you got a good long, hang on to it. I mean, Palantir's working for now, but that's my concern. We could be breaking out in the NASDAQ as we speak, right at the beginning of Power Hour. Miss V.
Hey guys, just 1 hour left until the end of this trading day, and we ask you to support the community and like this video. 3,500 people are watching us right now, so please help us to get to at least 1,000 likes. Back to you guys.
1,000 likes. Yeah, I mean, if we can't get to 1,000 likes, then honestly, I'm out of here. Because I feel like that is very, very reasonable for everybody to hit us up with those likes. So, guys, if you can hit the like button, that'd be awesome. We're talking about Upstart. We're talking about our most frustrating stocks. We're talking everything, hopefully, that you guys want us to. So, hit it up. We are doing the best job that we can. I'm just trying to look at...
It's very hot in here. I'm just going to say that one more time.
I know you said, like, I'm in a sweater.
I was wearing a sweater this morning, and like someone turned the heat up, and I had to take the sweater off, and I think it's still a little bit warm in here. But
we'll have to check it.
And I got Caribbean blood, man. It's not as if I'm complaining about the heat.
Yeah, I know. I feel...
Okay, see, Mark is on the ladder working, and he's saying it's hot.
Of course he is. He's working, and heat rises, and he's working.
Yes.
So I do expect that. Yeah, anyways, yeah, if it's
don't
hot...
mind me, man.
If it's hot in here... I mean, look, you have your water, too.
I'm almost done this already.
Yeah, exactly. So Hydration Nation, at least, is in full effect right now. Okay, so... Like, as if, man, I'm going to keep talking about the same name that I'm in. I just looked at Microsoft again and would like to get into that. I mean, I'm looking at Upstart as well. There's obviously a bunch of different names here that we could be into at any given time here today. But right now, Virgin Galactic, still frustrating me. We still have our bids down here in the low 70s, to get filled. And then we hope for a little bit lower there. Yeah, these keyboards are pretty hot at the end of the day. I have over right now 150 fills today, including all these stocks that I'm trading. So, yeah, it's been a little bit crazy. Sorry, 120 fills. Sorry about that one. One stock that I've been in today that hasn't done anything is this Rolls Royce. You might see me looking over here over again and over again, but I'm just like, today I'm just trying to scalp, like trade this, and it's like, I'm short there and out there. It's nothing. Like, anyways, if you ever see me into something, I don't mind Rolls Royce, but just trying to look at some pink sheets. We did have Jeff Mendel on earlier, so shout out to you, Jeffrey, and I hope everything is well there. And let me know when you're back up here and the weather is nice. I know Neil doesn't go golfing, but maybe you could just come and chill out, sit there and enjoy some Manhattans on the course, although I don't think they serve them on the course, but we can make an exception.
I seriously doubt they would.
Yeah,
and they probably don't let you bring your own either, I'm assuming. I know that for a fact.
Neil, correct. They do not let you bring your own alcohol.
I will say this, like
on any golf course.
For the record, like I don't have anything against golfing. Like one of my, actually, probably I would say the #2 bachelor party of our group. You know what was #1, and it's not to harp on yours, but we had a great golf trip for Sean's bachelor party. That was amazing. I'm not a huge golfer, but hey, I was loving it. It was good times. #1 was New Orleans. You know what that's all about.
Oh, wow.
That goes without saying.
We went to South Carolina, then New Orleans. The best part about New Orleans was the gunshot and our friend running into the bar to see what the gunshot. Like, I guess this is what happens when you're from Canada. It's like we were in a bar on, was it Bourbon Street? I think it was Main Street there.
Yeah, of course.
And then there was some sort of action happening. Some
sort of action?
I think like Neil and I were like, we gone. But we were with, let's say, 10 people? I don't know. Maybe.
We were 15 deep.
Was it that deep?
Oh, yeah, because remember he had a couple of his buddies from
Yeah. Anyways, long story short, we went one way, one of our buddies went the other way.
He went right into the action.
I don't know, he was trying to be
like, are you crazy?
Superman. But yeah, anyways,
nobody's
long story
hero.
short, everyone's fine.
I'm nobody. Like no, not necessarily. Like if somebody that is in danger, fair enough. Like I'm gonna go
in danger. Yeah, this.
No, if it's like my family or whatnot. But like you're just out enjoying time. It's like it wasn't like we weren't on the street. Like we were in the open part of the club.
Yeah, we were walking around.
And it's like you heard it. He left the club, then run down the street. I'm like, no, I'm gonna ease back further and just go back to the bar. Anyways. Now we're getting way off topic.
You know what? Those hurricanes. Those might have something to do with it.
Don't get me started, man.
That might have something to do with it. You guys know about hurricanes in New Orleans.
If you've never been, by the way, shout
out to New Orleans.
That's a great city, man. But you know what? Don't go during Mardi Gras. That's just my 2 cents because it's almost like it's too crazy then. So, anyways, back to the market for like a quick second here, or maybe for the rest of the day.
We lose viewers when we talk about stuff other than the market, by the way, apparently. That's true. Yeah, so stop it.
So Airbnb, we're talking about names that are sort of reporting and making moves. Airbnb, which Brennan brought to our attention like a decade ago, breaking out in a big way, up 5.5% here. And we talked about names that are getting into new ranges. So here's a multi-day break for your 177. Not clean. And here's the thing about if you're waiting for a break into a new range. You see something like this in Airbnb, and it breaks 177. Sometimes when it makes that move, you can't get out on that wick top. If it's not a significant break, I get it. Wick top, that's a short entry. But a lot of times, if it's a major trend reversal and it's found good support for that clean break, and this is what it looks like on the daily chart, right? Like it's an even better break out of this range in the daily because look where your next level is, not for another $10. When you see something like that, you can't let the wick get you out. And the reason I'm saying that is because that's exactly what I was sort of faced with Uber this morning at the same level on that 36 break. It's probably easier to see on a 1 minute, so I'll do it this way. Like when I originally took the long, it immediately came right back. But the break of 36 was a trend reversal. I'm taking the first consolidation, and I'm just holding it the rest of the day. So if it's a significant enough price level, you're not getting jiggled out by that failed break notion, which I usually love. A lot of times, that's signaling a short for me, which would retrace to VWAP. Sure, I've made that trade a million times, but that was a significant multi-day level break with potential upside that I want to be holding. So always know your style of trade. Like define, is this a scalp trade? Is this a quick retracement, failed break into VWAP that I love? Or is this a break, new range, and then hold it for a trend? And you've got to make that determination before you get into the trade, not during or at. Well, you can change your mind during if market conditions change. That can be fair. But you shouldn't necessarily be just sort of flip-flopping. You should have an idea of what you're expecting or looking for in that trade. Otherwise, like you could be in here and then I could have been stopping out at VWAP on the long and then miss out on all this. But I knew once it took that level, I wanted the other direction and I wanted to try to hold it all day.
The good thing about our chat here, I just want to bring it up. I found a new best friend. What's up, Richard Osaki? You can get cocktails on some golf courses in Hawaii delivered to your cart. All right, Richard, at Trader TV, Sean, hit me up. Let me know what golf course that is, and we'll be on the next flight there. Yeah, that should be awesome. No, we have drinks here, too. It's just like the beer cart girls wouldn't have mixed drinks per se.
Of course, they're not making Manhattan.
Right, this is what I'm saying. So
you probably get
you can bring in.
You can get into the clubhouse.
That's on the clubhouse. If they don't, then we gone out of there because
actually that's the way I judge a good. Like, so,
right, they should have.
Yeah.
I mean, they may not have the best bourbon or anything, but
no, but it's like a classic drink. It's like you should be able to do a good one for a few of the classics. And now we're talking about it way too much.
If the bartender looks at you like you don't know what you're talking about,
screw face.
That might be a different story there. Okay, Nvidia just starting to pop like crazy now, 2.34%. Man, we should be in this one. As we talked about it earlier, like what the heck was going on with Nvidia as AMD was down, or AMD was up 1.5%. Nvidia was up 7% at that time. So Nvidia right now going nuts. Wish it was back here, but we're well away from the 50-period moving average right now. So honestly, I wish I had something more. As if Virgin Galactic, guys, as if I was watching and thought I was going to get filled. It went down to 75 again there, 76 again, and we're waiting a little lower than that. So we'll have to watch out there. But Virgin Galactic going AMD. I'm not normally in NVIDIA. You guys know that. I normally choose AMD, which has definitely made up for lost time here. I don't know what happened there down to 115 today, but AMD and NVIDIA right now are definitely on one as they start to just ramp up to the upside. Like, how good are these earnings going to be tonight? Like, are they like crypto's not doing anything? Bitcoin's at 44 and change. I mean, Ethereum's at 31, which is nice. But yeah, right now the market is just took out these days high and just continued to rock to the upside. So don't know what's going on. We are expecting, I mean, again, this is the thing. Maybe you guys can confirm or deny this, but I was thinking that Biden was supposed to say something about Russia.
He's going to be public.
But I felt like he was already speaking.
So apparently he was speaking earlier, but it was a different topic. So he wasn't really talking about Ukraine, but Brennan's got it. It's like we start talking about it, Brennan already has the actual.
Yeah, he's ready to rock and roll.
It's actually not that. They are still saying, guys, that he is going to talk on Ukraine, Russia at 3:30. So we'll see what happens about that. But wanted to mention this as well. The market, yes, breaking 2-day highs. Chip makers, we mentioned this morning, still very strong. Micron was popping up again at day highs on decent volume here. So MU leading the way right now.
Just to give you guys an idea.
Ukraine is weak.
Oh, goodness.
Has nothing to do with Ukraine. And everyone in the chat, bang! Everyone in the chat knows where that is from right now. we're getting that space trade going on there as we beat that thing up right now. As here comes space to the downside.
Give me 20 more cents.
Yeah, complain, and sometimes we get that. So we'll put a bid right down here, 42, 43 now, as we do get that space trade, as here it comes, starting to go to the downside. We're not going to say space is crashing. We're not going to say that, but it is coming to the downside right now. I would hope for a stock crash down here to 10, 20, something like that. I don't even consider that really a crash, but we'll see if space can get going here. 1040 is where I'm bidding right now. 1040, a little ahead of that. You don't want to use the exact dollar amount there, but 43, 44, 45, something like that in here on past resistance. That's my next target for space. So first target hit at 71. We talked about that. Now we wait to see, which is not a great trade. I mean, we're short 85, out 71. It's not a great trade, but we'll wait to see if it can come back into the 40s, like in and out, in and out. Now let's wait to see if we get that home run trade here on Virgin Galactic.
Yeah, I actually think, if someone just asked, if you're long Virgin Galactic from the morning, are you out of it? I look at it, holding an Uber trade, which has a similar sort of like chart, maybe not as parabolic, I would say if you're holding the last, no. I don't think you necessarily have stop back out. Like if you got it, and apologies, because I wanted to talk about C next, I don't want to flip the chart on you, but if you have the long from the original 940 break, you could easily be trailing that to 1040. You might still be, and I think some people might have trailed out of it, but there's others that are going to be holding on to it a little bit more. Brendan?
I was just going to mention that Neil is a Singapore-based software company. They make games, apps. Yesterday, we learned that India banned up here 54 of those Chinese games or Chinese apps. And then Kathy Wood said, oh yeah, and bought, 145,000 shares. So yesterday, we were down huge on huge volume, it's worth mentioning. And then right back up today, 15.5% on, it would appear, Miss Wood stepping into SE.
There's a 99.9% chance I said don't swing this stock, and then Kathy Wood comes in. Anyways, it doesn't matter. I still kind of hold to that, but the way that it was trading and the reaction you saw, like it didn't even have a chance to consolidate. But I will also say this, like you guys see, like Brendan just came with the news. So keep in mind, we're actively trading multiple symbols, and I see the volume strong. I see the move up to 150. Now, a lot of times, if you're a single trader, like you're then checking on what's going on, we can literally just type a symbol in, and then Brendan tells us what's going on with the stock. So understand that is a huge advantage. It's one of the reasons why we think there's a value for the show and why you share it with the community, because it's so easy to be able to say, okay, well, you see something on a volume alert, okay, but is there a significant price level I'm missing? Is there a part of the story that I'm missing here? And that's what a lot of traders miss. It's the value of being on when we had a full trading floor is by just pure crowdsource. Like somebody has probably looked into that stock or read something that day, and then just that collective knowledge is a big benefit to you on a daily basis as a trader, as opposed to being a lone wolf sitting at home, which is nothing wrong with that. It's just you do miss out on that. That's why growing the community is such a huge advantage. All that being said, see right back to this 150 level, as you can see on the 15-minute chart. 15-minute chart. It's already tested it once, got to 149.80. Now I'm just looking for that patented rollover style trade here. So, I kind of want to see it break down a little bit. Like, let's see if it can take out maybe a 148.75 or so. Realistically, if I'm going to be risking $1.25, there's plenty of room. Like the 1-to-1's here. And this was very similar. What was that stock Room was trading last week? It was Bill. It was very similar where, okay, yeah, so you're going to risk $1 on the trade, but there was so much room on any kind of a pullback that you almost wanted to see it break down out of that consolidation as opposed to just putting the offer in front of 150. So I'd rather see it break down, and I'm going to put that order in now. Come on, Virgin Galactic, 12 more cents. Palantir, by the way, there's still somebody buying this thing above 14. So I don't know if that short is going to work out the way I want, even though it's still in the money. Showing signs of strength as the market is breaking out, by the way.
The market, good number there. We talked about that 14,400 earlier on in the day as being key, and we got within 14,400. We got within 20 points of that there at the bottom. So if you did take that long off that level I gave, it was been a good one, man, almost right to the upside there on the triple Qs. I wanted to go over this. Tomorrow, we talked about this quickly there with Brendan, but you should know who Peter Schiff is. We'll find him tomorrow. Over 700,000 or 600,000 followers right there. 653,000 followers right now. Chairman, chief economist, and global strategist. Europack.com, shiftgold.com, blah, blah, blah.com. Peter Schiff tomorrow on the show. We're excited to have him on. So I'll talk with Brendan. If you want to know about gold, we'll see. I don't know if Brendan has all the talking points, so we'll see what's going to happen, but maybe there's going to be some crypto talk. He has some interesting theories. You can look him up, Peter Schiff, go on his website. He has like, I was looking yesterday, I think it was like 10 of his last 12 posts or something about crypto. So if you're interested in that, he's going to be coming on at Everything Gold and getting your money possibly out of said economy and into something else. So we'll have to look to see that. I'm not going to give you who he is, but if you look him up, we're very, very proud and honored to have Peter Schiff on tomorrow. So an interesting guy, lots of ideas. So we'll wait for him to come through. Very exciting for all of us here. You know what? So this is the thing. The market's well off its 50-period moving average. Palantir's trying to bounce right now off 14. The problem is right now, you're going to have to use this as your out, 13.95 if you go long. And I mean, that could come in at any time right now. So I just don't think the risk to reward right here, I mean, whether or not we test the highs, maybe, but I'm feeling like I can find something better for me right now to go long because, again, I'm not going to go short with the market where it is. Microsoft, damn it, we are already long and got out of that one. Should still be in this one. That's not a good opportunity for us. Just quickly before we go back to Brendan, we talked about Facebook. Look at that 215. Like, there's so many opportunities today, and this should be really. I almost wish that we could go back on our frustrating stock because look at this. Facebook today touches these very bottoms, and there's no reason. I mean, now in 20 minutes, the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, what is it, 8 or 9 candles here on a 20-minute chart is straight to the up after touching a well-defined bottom. Like, so again, this was a trade that we all should have had probably in our accounts. Brendan?
We were talking about those filings that came through aftermarket yesterday, a lot of them anyways, aftermarket yesterday. MasterCard having a nice day here, guys. MA up, back above this 380 level, trying to hold anyways above 380. Lone Pine Capital, a cool billion into MasterCard. I also noticed today AXP, very, very close to all-time highs once again.
We got a question from Mike there. Well,
Maybe
it was more of a comment. Like, how can today be so risk on? Thanks for the super chat, Mike. We love you, buddy. But I kind of feel like, look, remember how hard we sold off when we got some of the bad news over Ukraine? I just feel like there's money that was coming back in because of that. And you saw the relative strength in some of the travel names. And then on top of that, you really have been getting overall good earnings, right? And, you know, so especially in the chip sector, you had a lot of these names which had fantastic earnings, and then some of that strength hasn't necessarily played out in the stock price. So some of that is going to be playing into it. You're trying to put a higher low in the Qs here. Maybe we're not retesting the 200-period moving average, but I can see the argument for why some money wanted to get back on board that might have had that quick exit late last week over the Ukraine, and now they're like, well, cooler heads have prevailed, and let's put some of that back to work. So I get it. It does feel like, look, we got the Fed minutes tomorrow. We haven't even had any of the earnings that we're more concerned with this week just yet. But sometimes, you know, the money can come in a little bit sooner than you expect when the market is this far off of those highs. And people are always afraid of missing out on those moves. Come on, Virgin Galactic. It's so close. I did.
Is it that close? Oh, yes. Oh,
well,
yes.
Yeah. You see, this is the candle that just got put in here, and like I'm sitting right on the bid.
Yep.
Next stop, hopefully VWAP. But even if this one does work, like I just talked about the market breaking out a little bit. Yeah, this is Palantir. Sort of bounces off. That buyer just sort of steps in at 95, and now it's just really barcoding. And the longer it does this, the closer we get to 350, the more likely I am to actually throw my stop and not even care about 1420 and just say, okay, well, maybe I should put the top stop at 1410, or if we're sitting down here down at 14 even. But come on, Virgin Galactic. I just, again, missed it by a cent.
Oh, really? Oh, man, my bid's not till the 40s, but here it comes. It'll come down here. Virgin Galactic, yes, sir. We go, yeah, buddy. We smoked that one more time, Virgin Galactic. And we do have a new position right now, alert for you. We're going to go short on Ford here. And again, okay, Ford, I see you. And again, it's just off these highs right here. So Ford, again, I called it up looking to see what we could do with it. And I was looking to go long, to be honest with you, but the setup up here makes sense to me. The futures look like, and again, they could take off. There's no doubt about that. But if if it does, I was just trying to retrace down there. If it does retrace back down, I'm thinking we could scalp out Ford. So let's wait to see if we get an 18 print. Great, down here to 18 where we resisted before. We do have a wick bottom at 18, so let's put a bid at 1802. See if we get that. And again, my out. And the reason why we're doing this is Brennan's confirmed, and whether or not Mr. President Biden comes through there with his timing properly or not. It's supposed to be 3:30. I feel like he's not going to say anything about Russia. And if anything, I don't know. I just remember like as if Putin's going to be scared or like, I don't know, whatever he says. I just feel like the market might retrace off of whatever he says. And I don't know. I don't know if it's a prepared script or not, but we'll wait to see if it comes to the downside. We are short now at 08, looking to average in if it gets to like 11 and then using 15 as our high of the day. So let's just see. Ford came out today, wasn't super strong off the open. It did hold these though. And then just recently, starting at 1 p.m., it sort of started to take off up to the upside. So I'm going to sort of, and I'm a Ford bull, but you know, this setup, it's really good. I was also looking to see on Donkey Kong, DraftKings here, but the thing about DraftKings is it's actually up quite nicely today, up 6%. Like, wow, good move up for DraftKings here. And you could see I was gonna short it against some of these highs. I don't mind this look either right now, but again, look, it just, unlike Ford, this is just definitely has the trend to it, right? When you look at this as opposed to Ford, you know, Ford doing this, negative news, we could easily see Ford come down. For DKNG, it's too trendy to the upside, which is why I'm now, as I see Virgin Galactic not wanting to take down that 50, maybe that was a decent out there. We're short 85, like 35 cents on a name that's rocking, probably, you know, maybe should have been taken, but we'll wait to see on this one. I still have hopes for that low 40 bid, and then I'm going to put a bid right now, not to get out of everything, but I mean, half, this is going to sound crazy, but 02, like, hey man, if I could take 6 cents on a stock that really has moved like 3 cents in the last hour, I think we should maybe do that. So let's go back down here. We'll see. We'll take out maybe a third. Let's go a third out here at 1802, and then we'll see if we can get it lower than that on Joe Biden, which apparently is in 11 minutes.
Yeah, and I did get the trigger into C, so that finally sort of is trying to break that consolidation. So we'll play the retracement play there. Sort of speaking about, you know, market potential moves here going into 3:30, I do have to keep in mind, you know, I am planning on I'm trying to hold Uber through a 37 break, and this is now testing it. It's got to 97, 98 a few times here. But going into 3:30, it would make some sense to put a trail in. The same way I wouldn't, like I'm looking to short, and actually, sorry, I got short on C, which just pulled back. I can't be in a long in Uber, which is doing the same type of trend, having trouble breaking through the 37 even top, and then not want to cover this if it takes out 36.80. So it might only give me, that'd be about $1.25. But as we get closer to 3:30, I'm just going to go ahead and make sure I have that trail here on Uber. I do not need to give this all the way back. Also keep in mind, like this is not, we're day trading, so I can't sit in this saying, yeah, but that's also, if you're swinging in this, you would easily hold this to tomorrow and then see if you can take out 38. Well, I gotta be flat at 4 o'clock anyways. So the closer we get to this time, we're always putting in trails or adjusting our positions, knowing you've got to be flat at the end of the day. So I will get the trail in right now on Uber just to make sure we lock in the profit. And outside of that, it's Virgin Galactic, which again, you know, it's a few cents away from getting that target. I did miss it. And then Palantir, which I'm gonna adjust that stop in addition as well. And then I did wanna have a quick look. It's sort of coming back to Facebook because I know it had gotten up to that 220 level, and you're sort of seeing this. Like it can't seem to break away from 220 in either direction. It pulls back 50 cents, it breaks out 50 cents. So this would be on that list of, okay, 330, if a direction gets made, well, Facebook provides you with an opportunity to maybe not as much room to the upside now that I look at it, but break back out, get you towards the highs from this morning. But if it reclaims 220 to the downside, when the president starts speaking or finishes, whatever it might be, then you've got lots of room down into VWAP. So I think you kind of want to be directionally ambiguous when you're at a level like that on a Facebook and be open to both. Palantir, by the way, I don't know if this is the same person, but I just saw another 500,000 shares on the offer. I guarantee you that, did they just pull it? Give me a break. It was just here. I saw 500,000 shares at 5 on the offer. Now remember, when I first took this, there was 500,000 shares that showed up at the 14 initially, and this is a while back. Yeah, there they are. So on Edge A for 500,000 shares. I saw this earlier in the day, And this is when I got the short here instead of waiting for 1420. And then when it got to the 1420 level, added to the position on the rollover. That's why you'll see my price is actually 11s, because I got shares at both levels. I don't know if that guy's legit, but I can tell you the first time they took the fill for half, like they're like, yeah, I'll just take 500,000 shares. And they actually took the fill on Palantir, and you saw it go higher. So there's a good chance that's actually a legit offer that intends on being filled.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I find like Palantir is very, very risky stock. But yeah, good trading there on that. Let's hope it does come back to the downside, as we are thinking the NASDAQ wants to retrace down. I'm just looking at the NASDAQ because most of the names that you're going to see me trading, and I have AMC up right now, but most of the names that you're going to see me trading are going to be in the NASDAQ, at least a part of them. Most of them will be in both, but the ES has everything. It's just the NASDAQ. I like to follow that. I mean, I'll trade Microsoft, PayPal, even a Roblox, things like that tend to move a little bit better with that. So if you're saying, well, the market I'm looking at isn't falling right now because it's not as much the ES, but the NASDAQ is trying to give back a little bit here. So maybe we're in the wrong name, maybe we're not. I don't know. This isn't even moving. I was going to choose DraftKings. That's Ford. I was going to choose DraftKings. Let's see if that started. Yeah, look at DraftKings. We should be unbelievable here. Like, honestly, like. I was just saying, this didn't profile for me to go as much. And then look, we would already be in the money now, 40, 30 cents on DKNG, as that took out that level right there. But if the market does fall, DraftKings, again, could retrace. Up 6%? Nah. Shouldn't be, but again, nice move downside. We've already had the Super Bowl DraftKings, so let's see what that wants to do now coming back in. That's DKNG. And on that, let's just hope Ford is like a little late to the party, guys. But you can be late to the party as long as you're well dressed. And right now, we are in the money, a whopping 3 pennies now. So hopefully this can come back down. Hey, look, it's about share size, right? I mean, 3 pennies goes down. We're not taking it. We're going to take some O2s. But if Ford can come back in, that would be a okay trade for me. So let's see if that can come through. And then here comes Virgin Galactic, Neil, right back down to those levels one more time, 10.55. So that's what we're looking at. And I'm just not getting into anything now because, like I said, there are certain names we're looking at, including Win. I want to look at Win. They're going to be reporting tonight, I think. I saw them on the board, and if not, that's fine, but Win, a nice little move to the upside. We've been buying this thing at 80 strong, and now up to 95, 96. So we look to see on projections for Macau, we look to see if any of their daily active users, I know that's a social media thing, but what are their numbers looking like now in their casinos? What is Vegas? I mean, on all reports, Vegas is bumping, obviously with Super Bowl there, people going back, so we'll see, not Super Bowl there, but we just had the Super Bowl. That should be nice for Vegas. We'll wait to see what happens here. Win coming in today, I think, anyways, at the end of the day with earnings. Hit the like button for Ms. V. Maybe we can get her on, ask for some more likes pretty soon, as Ms. V is back. Here and
back in black.
Did you settle up with Prad yet, or what?
Look, man, he got cash. He got it at his desk live on the show because I'm a man of my word. And he even tried to say, "Look, man, it's all about the bragging rights. I don't want." No, principle is priceless.
Yeah, of course.
So that's what it's all about here. And it doesn't matter if it's $1 or $1 million. Who cares, man? It's just what it's all about. I thought for sure it's like first day back. The market's been teetering.
Yeah.
He's gonna have the green on. Maybe even like, it just it didn't
I can't
happen.
hate on you for the call. It made sense. The call made sense.
But let's be real for a quick second here. The NASDAQ is up 2 1/4.
Yep.
So maybe we need to change this up and just say, okay, from now on, you come back from vacation, throw down the all black, and we go up 2 1/4. Maybe that's just the way it has to be. That's the new, like black is the new green, maybe. I have no idea, but I just think the market's looking pretty strong. When I wasn't necessarily expecting this much strength, and quickly, just going to point out a few things. Oh, good, this wick on Tesla.
The red and black lumberjack.
But you have a few names which are, again, barcoding off of highs. This is my only concern with the market. I mean, I like the rollover in C because of how parabolic it's gone. But you have so many names that are rejecting the tops. That's another reason why, sort of put that trail in on Uber here. So, and Tesla has just been off this 920 level. I mean, it's broken it a couple of times, but look at that barcode. That's the kind of thing you get going and start running away from it. Anybody that's been holding out for much more on the longs this morning, because if you're in that long this morning, you might still be waiting for it to break out. I don't see why not. Like, it's only like 15, 20 bucks in the money. The next real level's up at 950. You've been waiting for a quarter break, and you're just not seeing it happen here on what was one of the stronger names, and I guess still is, Tesla up 5% or almost 5%. So I'm starting to see some signs that we could see a bit of a pullback as we are minutes away from the president speaking. We don't know what he's going to say, but someone pointed out in the chat, it's true, probably prepared results, but sometimes it's going to move the market anyways, or move the markets when he stops.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I didn't know if if it was a prepared speech or not. But
I think so.
I don't think it's a speech, though. I don't know. I don't know if he's taking questions. I don't know anything. We'll wait to see what's happening. So I am looking to get some out now on space. I mean, it just resists over and over and over again. So we will take another piece out there at 63. So we just got that. Now, I mean, whatever. That's 25 cents. We'll take it. And now we'll just wait to see if it does drop down. I've canceled my bid. So if we're going to be right on this one, then we'll be right and we'll be able to get some out here at 35. It's just how many times, like, it just bounced. Obviously, I would have liked to get 57s, but in a chance that this retraces back to the upside, let's just get out of Virgin Galactic. We can actually cancel our stop order now on that. Oh, I have a Microsoft stop order? Ooh, okay, good thing I looked through all this. Well, I thought I was going to get longer there and I missed it, so I'll cancel my stop. It's unbelievable. I call the market coming down and I pick Ford and it's doing absolutely nothing. Next time, guys, we're just going to short the market itself like we've done many times on this show before, or pick a stock that we should have been in the first place.
Here's an interesting question.
DraftKings, AMD up 6.
Not to interrupt, you just said AMD up 6. Didn't we talk about chip strength this morning? I have 0 chip names to the long side today. Yep. Did you catch any?
Nope.
So I'm looking at my board because there were 2 things we talked about this morning. One of them was chip strength, and we even had this on the watch list. The other one was travel names to the upside. Well, we already talked about how we got none of those. Marvel's up 9% today. AMD is up 6% today. Yeah. Nvidia is up 6% as well. No, my bad. Was it 9%? 9% NVIDIA is up. So all of these names are absolutely booming to the upside. I'm probably missing out on a few, so I'm sure you could check out a few more. But that's what we're getting at with regret. Like, I mean, give me a break. Look how clean the trend is on these chip names. So
come on, Galactic.
When we talked about why the booming market, why is the market up so much, why is it risk on? Well, the chips had good earnings, and now we're getting some actual moves. Now, I'm not going to be up on Virgin Galactic. That ship sailed, I don't know, like 3 hours ago, 4 hours ago. But at least it's possibly coming down back into VWAP, so we can be happy about that. Also rolling over is, well, not yet. Trying to roll over is C. This is almost identical to that bill trade, right? So at 1-to-1, which also happens to be this consolidation in front of 147, that's where my first bid is. And then I'm thinking probably down to 144 or VWAP. Time is going to be able to tell, but I do want to try to give it more room, just given how far it moved. It closed at 129. The breakout and support this morning was at 135. So I'm not really thinking it comes back down there, but a healthy pullback could be in the cards here. Hasn't happened yet, but this is the one that we think can give more than just a few shekels.
And you guys can basically, I hear Trader Pratt, he has the short as well in Virgin Galactic here, VGalac here, as, look, you can thank me, first of all, because the market thought I was out right here, but I was not. So they wait for me to get out, then they tank it down to the downside, but we are out a part of it. So there it is, bouncing off 50 again. I was never going to forget 50 Cent coming in upside down at the Super Bowl. I kind of wasn't wanting him to fall, but I just think it kind of would have been fun.
Can you imagine if you did?
I can't even imagine what would have happened there because that guy was like, he's a big dude right now. I'm surprised that thing didn't break.
Play on the line now.
Obviously, yeah. I think it was a fullback for the Bengals there. What's up, Randy? What's up, Randy?
What's up, brother?
Yeah, okay. So 1050 holds right there. Now we're going to look for the downside here of 1030, 1036. So we'll wait for that. I don't have any bids, but that's, if you're looking for a target, that's kind of something that I think you can hang your hat on here for space. So we'll do that and see what happens right now. As it is now 3:30. So we could definitely have a look to see if the market's going to do anything. I'm not sure. I look over our corner there, and you can see POTUS standing there. We'll see what he says. So we'll see what this has to do anything with Ukraine or Russia there. And the only thing I have on the short, I have space and I have Ford, ready to see if we can rock and roll with these trades. Ford right now short, coming back in. We did have a whopping 3 pennies on this at one point, but right now we'll look to see if it does take down this 18 flat back down to the downside. Ford up 3.5% today, but doing nothing right now. There goes the market. So obviously we wish we had DraftKings on right now. Now the market's going to the downside. And if you can't predict that Biden's going to say nothing, then you're in the wrong business. So let's wait to see what happens here. Unless he's like, hey man, we ain't playing, that would also create a downward move in the market. So no matter what he says, let's see if this this market goes down. As it's going, my stocks, it looks like, Neil, I don't even want to look at DraftKings. Okay, DraftKings not really moving, so I feel better now. Let's see if this market wants to go down. We just took out the 50 period.
I'll use this one because, hey, the market's still up 2%. So Miss V is back. I'm going to continue to use the Miss V Superman. I'm finally out of Uber. We trailed out, like we said. Possibly it was going to trigger when 330 came. That's exactly what happened. But it does mean the shorts are going to start to come in here. So see, I haven't gotten filled on the bid yet. It's still trying to break 148, but you are seeing it start to come back into the downside. You just went over Virgin Galactic. Palantir, because obviously, there was a buyer at 95. 500,000 shares in the offer, it actually goes sideways, and it still has support at 14 even. So I am going to now tighten it. I said I was going to do this. I'm now going to move the stop back to this 14.10 level. Look, if it doesn't want to go after all of this, then you can't be fighting trend. It can still break 14 and fall into VWAP, but obviously, of the shorts that I have on, there's one of them which is not cooperating, even though it's in the money, and that's clearly Palantir.
We haven't identified, I should have had this Microsoft short. Let's go short Microsoft. Like, I have no idea what he's saying. If you guys can let us know or something, that might be pretty good. But there goes Ford to the downside. Hopefully
we should give diplomacy every chance to succeed.
Okay, that sounds pretty good. We'll go short softy here, not give it too far back, not all the way to 300, but we will talk about a short right now and just give it not too much room, but back up to like 70 or 80 here on Microsoft, just in case it wants to tank. We are short right now. We did identify that Microsoft was a little weaker than previous stocks at certain points. So there it comes. Yes, sir, let's go. Now we're 20 cents of the money. This is what we're waiting for, guys. Here we go. To take a word from my man Randy. Here we go. Now going to the downside on Ford. We just took an 04 bid. Now let's see. We took an 05 and an 04. Let's see if we crack through 18. That's like my next target here. NASDAQ. Folly to the downside. Let's see if the market wants to keep up with it as well. NASDAQ coming back down, but keep all of this in mind, guys. We're just getting back to like where we were an hour ago, so we'll see if this can keep going lower. Hopefully, there it is. Yes, sir. Another one. We take an 03 bid now on Ford, so hey, I mean, you don't have to have the sexiest stock or the biggest mover. You just got to have the trades on. As now we're down to 02. Let's go, Ford. This is exactly what we wanted to hear from the market, and now it's going to the downside. We just don't have anything super aggressive, but I'm pretty happy here with Ford.
Yeah, so says hasn't verified Russian units returning home. So that was, I mean, like just sort of getting headlines.
This market is going to die, honestly.
So we're getting that rollover. I'm basically on the bid for first out on SE here. You've seen that come back into the downside. Palantir, Palantir just broke that 14 even. AMD just rolled over a little bit here. So what you're seeing is across the board, that exuberance that we had, Facebook now breaking that 220. Like I picked the ones we like for the short side, so we're going to hang on to those. But you're seeing pretty much across the board. We're warning about Tesla as well, having some trouble breaking out at 920. That's now pulled back into VWAP. And this is what I meant. Like if you're in that long, like say you were in C at the highs, or in Virgin Galactic or Uber, something that was trending to the upside, AMD, you didn't want to expose that risk of it pulling back in there. And there's nothing wrong with holding out for more. You got an AMD at the bottom, let's just say, but sometimes putting that trailing stop in there, understanding there's only 20 minutes left in the day, bank that profit. So what? If it regains a high, you give up $1. I'm just using this as an example. I mean, I could go over one of the ones I had, but AMD, it's still 5 or 6 from the bottom, and that's what people are likely doing in this situation. It's like put the risk on when things felt better in the morning. Well, guess what? They have their excuse to take some of that off here at the end of the day. And let's keep in mind, we're still above 2% to the upside in the NASDAQ. It was a slight pullback, but some of these names, it's profit taking at that top, and you can capitalize on it by either taking that short trade and then getting, like I just said, you do a backflip, getting that first out here on C, which is super strong, or like I said, if you had a long, just don't give it up. Like I just had the long in Uber all day, and then we're just going to be able to get it out here. And then Sean giving you examples on multiple names, like Ford gave you that trade. Just pick the one that you're comfortable with. Know what might happen at 330. Be ready so that when it does, you can capitalize. So we spent a lot of time going over it. Now we can kind of reap the benefit.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't reap too many benefits there. Microsoft, I was hoping for an epic collapse there. We had a beautiful short. I mean, we were short 42. Yeah, I know, but we didn't take it out. So we had a great short there at 42. It goes all the way down to 80. 80 cents there in the money. So we'll go fail for me for not taking it. But still, Yay who will go ring the register if you took it, because it did make a move to the downside. The NASDAQ is now popping back up, so yeah, we may wind up losing on this, which is going to suck. But hey, you know, we've sat here before in the afternoon and honestly seen like epic moves. What just happened? Oh, we just got that, Phil. Okay, the market just tanked there. We got it. Bang, 80 cents right there on Microsoft. So hello, the People's Trader is in the building right there. We get that trade off right there. The market just absolutely just hit down on this move. This is how like slippery the market is. Like we just put a bid there right at that last low. And I was like, hey, I'll take 40 cents, 80 cents if we could get it. And there it is. So I hope you guys had that again. Sometimes you got to put your order out to get those fills. But either way, I mean, you could have had for sure O's there, which was 40 cents. But you can miss those trades obviously as well.
Hang on a second.
And then, okay, hold on a second. And then we go Ford right now. There it is, man. We just got an 01 bid, so that is coming in. Let's go, man. We're again, we've hit these calls for you, and I'm glad that they're actually working out.
You know, I got to have fun with that one because you said sometimes you got to put your orders out to get to fill.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure all the times you got to put your orders out.
Yeah, most of the times you have to do it. Yeah.
Because if you're getting that magic fill where you don't have to actually put the orders out, and then you can just be like, oh, I got filled at that price. Not calling out anybody. You know, look, man, you see that stuff all the time online. But yeah, you actually got to get that order out all the time. And especially when you take advantage. I didn't see anything that caused that last spike to the downside. It almost felt like we were about to bounce back up. And so the comments that are coming, it's like the last one, Biden, NATO doesn't have missiles in Ukraine or have plans to put them there. Is that causing a spike down? Brendan, what do you got, bud?
They're just saying that they haven't confirmed that Russian troops have, in fact, gone back to their base, but we knew that already. So, I mean, this is just a lack of liquidity, in my opinion, and some algos doing algo types of things.
They do that.
And that's what it is, right? I mean, they hear oh, that's Ford. So basically now we are out of 70% of Ford with 3 or 4. These are all 10% out. So we were just trying to get out on the way in, collecting rebates. And if you guys are traders, you sort of would know about the rebate system again. And that is just you get paid to add liquidity. So if you're sitting here and it runs over you, you'll actually get paid between $2 to $3 per 1,000 shares that you use. So it's not huge, but it's better than paying.
I can show you what it looks like
for the fill. So I mean, I'm pretty sure they got this right now. So okay, that's why we're out of Ford. You can see the market rallying a little bit, and that's why I know we just joked about putting out orders on Softy, but it is just the algos hitting these levels. So now we can cancel our buy order, and oh yeah, the only thing we have left is Ford. So so far so good, man. Virgin Galactic, a good out there, but not here. We should have waited for 50s, and now we'll wait for lower than that. We're still looking for 30s, but there's only 20 minutes left, and 10 of those are going to be the imbalance, which starts very soon.
Yeah, oh yeah, that's right. Imbalance is coming in 10 minutes. Because the shorts ran in the money here, I tightened up the stop on Palantir, but I'm keeping it on SE. That's starting to roll over. Like, it already gave us that first out, so it's profitable no matter what. I just wanted to comment on, we hadn't talked about the Intel deal, and someone asked about it early in the chat. All I will say is keep in mind how long this deal might take to close. I would tell you for sure that this has a much higher probability of getting through antitrust than NVIDIA ARM didn't happen. And this is a safer deal to get through than Xilinx, which did go through, in my estimation. So I think it's going to happen. Just keep in mind how long it might take. You might be talking a full year before this deal closes. I think at best, maybe end of this year would be speculation, because the spread right now is $6. It's trading at 47. The deal's at 53. So you're talking about a good 12% worth of a spread on a high probability that the deal I think is going to go through. So the reason it's very stable is because the time value of money. I did think it was a fade if it got any higher. That just never happened for a trade there. And Intel, if you're wondering why everything, whoops. Why did I do that? If you're wondering why everything else is so strong and Intel's basically flat, well, it's an all-cash deal. So it did get sold off. It actually has rebounded, so you're seeing it follow the rest of the chip names. But you make a cash purchase like that, you know they're going heavily on spending for Intel for their transition. But that deal, it's going to take a long time to close. I just wanted to check back in on Tesla here, as everything for now is cruising. I'd like to see Virgin Galactic maybe break 1050. That hasn't happened yet. But Tesla, here we go, back to the 1 minute. That's still attempting to break VWAP. So you're starting to see maybe an acceleration on the rollover. And a few of these key names probably have to break levels like this, whether it's Tesla at VWAP or it's still trying to get to VWAP, even at 219 on Facebook. It's still green on the session, of course, but a few names that are in the midst of this pullback. We haven't really accelerated yet. Watch out for 350. But the one thing I will admit is, so I got out of Uber because of the Biden thing, or because the president was talking 330. Didn't matter what he was going to say. I didn't like the risk being in the money. This actually still has a chance to continue that move. And we talked about how we're day trading. So as much as that break at 36 is a swing setup, like it's a multi-day bottom, it's a break, it has probably clean moves up to like 38 and then maybe even 40. So if you were looking for that, you might be wanting to hold on to it. As a day trader, you almost have to take that out. You don't have a choice. Like Uber is also not the kind of stock which is very likely to have a 4 p.m. run in it. Like that's small caps that'll go crazy like AMC's or meme stocks. I'm not really thinking Uber is going to make that move, so we did have to get out of it. It's still in a nice trend break, so tomorrow I'd be looking for a long off of 36 if we can get it, but we had to cover that trade no matter what happens from here to the close.
All right, guys, and we don't talk about Bruno, but we'll talk about some bangs because there goes Ford, man. Ford just touched 97 there, and that's that. And then if you were thinking like, oh, you know, Microsoft would never go down to 80s, well, there it is right there, actually below where I got out now, so that was a good trade. And I do want to just, I wanted to talk to Mr. or Mrs. Willowpuff here. Like, I understand this is about me, but when you're up, like, I need to remember to cool it down and stop bragging, have some of Arun's humility. This is a show. Like, if you want me to sit here like Arun and just be like, okay, yep, I'm short, I'm long, fine, I'll do that. But this is a show, and honestly, everybody that's like trash talking Willowpuff after that comment, I understand. I mean, I'm not winning on all my trades, but I am going to be happy, and we sit here, and that's the whole point of the show, is to entertain. So, I mean, that's why I do what I do, and that's why 30,000 followers and everybody there on Twitter, I don't think can be wrong, but maybe, and I say thank you so much, Willowpuff. We will try to be trading with a little more humility, but hey, that's why we're here, man. We all can't be robots. We got to be a little bit more aggressive sometimes to entertain, guys. So what's up, Brendan or Miss V?
Just looking at Backed again. I feel like it was yesterday about this time this thing popped up again, but here we go. Day highs on volume. This is the second kind of push to the upside. Back to 840, 23%. I mean, Bitcoin not really doing much right now, but nice move here into the close for BKKT.
Well, I didn't rag on Pratt, but I made a comment about, because he didn't want to pay for shorts on BBIG when it was at the high of the day and it was 11 o'clock. He's saying, oh, at this time of day, I don't want to do it. At that time of day, there's still plenty of opportunity. Now, at this time of day, I don't know that I would want to pay for a short on Backed. And look, it's a strong move, and I think maybe this is what Brendan was referring to. Maybe it was this level up here, like 860 when it made that run, but this was maybe not at the end of the day. This was last week. So it's at a key price level right here, right now. I don't know that that means you got to jump into it. Just showing it on the 15 on the daily chart, it looks pretty significant as well. A lot of times I might be trying to fade that, but we're now 5 minutes away from the imbalances coming. And I can tell you, Palantir, which it won't be a losing trade, but that just trailed me out because I tightened the stop on that. C, which looked like it was going to be, for all the world, rolling back over, is now trending right back into the upside. This is why I didn't move my stop. To me, if I'm taking that trade, look, I'm going to stop it out at the high of the day, especially when we've already taken profit. But we're getting close to that 350 mark. I have the last of Virgin Galactic. It does feel like we're going to have a spicy close because the market just decided to make another right turn. And that's a NASDAQ. We were pulling back, and this is a 60-minute, by the way. That's why it's still looking relatively green there, but pulling right back and then testing those highs once again. It's not a huge afternoon range in the context of where we've been, and ultimately we haven't broken out of these ranges either. We're still in a very range-bound trade, but it's once again the NASDAQ attempting to break that top. Another rejection, and maybe we get a real rollover. These imbalances only 4 minutes away.
Yes, sir. And again, guys, thank you for all the love on the chat. It was nothing negative about Willow Puffs there, but puff, puff, pass, Mr. or Mrs. Willow. And we'll just keep on going. And like I said, the show's about entertainment. That's why we started the show. And then if I can just keep these winners going, like, whatever, I can review all the trades today. We've been having some big days. The only negative stock we have all day today, and if this is bragging, I'll stop, is Roblox. One red name on the board, one red name. So yesterday we were 8 for 9, and you know, whatever. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 5 for 6 today. And this is a negative trade. And look where it is. And we were only going long. So again, we did misjudge Roblox strength today. It was really scary off the open as it was just cratering. And at the levels that we had, man, were like 67, 68. So like when you're coming back down in here, it's just, look, like this is what we did earlier. We broke all the way down here. You know, so when I'm here holding this 67 and it looks like this, hard to get that back going. But again, that's what that was on Roblox. So we'll go 5 for 6 today. And, you know, I'm not going to say it's par for the course, but those of you that have been watching the show kind of know what's good, right? So take that for whatever it is worth. My chat just froze on there. Not enough memory. Like I have not enough memory now, Mark, on this computer.
That doesn't make any
where
sense.
The chat just completely
See, but that's Chrome, man.
went down. So
That's it. Look, man, Chrome can be a bit of a you know what at times. So remember, Upstart just went all the way back into 107. So it does feel like someone probably just got caught offside and then had to dump a bunch of shares. And now we're right back, not to the highs, but we're back back above VWAP and back to this 107 area. At this point of the day, I'm not fading this thing. Forget about it. Going into those earnings, this should be spicy. This is now. I mean, I already said it's what I wanted to watch going into the imbalances. So it's going to be at the top of that list. Palantir we can check back in on as well. We're okay with Virgin Galactic. It might not make that other move, that secondary move to the downside into VWAP, but no need to really change much, except because it's 350. I will tighten the stop. Maybe give it to like 1080 or so, which is about break even, but no longer all the way to 11. Just no need to give back that much. And that's what I'm going to do every single time around this time. Maybe the imbalances move it. A lot of times they don't, but I feel like adjusting your stop when we're getting towards the end of the day is going to make a heck of a lot of sense. So watch out for Upstart if you're in it. Uber, of course, when I cover it, has now broken 37 and looks like it is going to break back out towards the end of the day here. So market still trying above 2% for now and getting close to those highs of the day once again. It's almost like, to be honest, if you punch short right at 330, and then the second he was off the camp, the second he was done his remarks, just reversed into, got out and then reversed long, that it was actually a winning trade.
Oh, yeah.
It was just that simple.
Big time, and that's why we started punching the keys here on Ford to get out as much as we could there as we saw the reversal. As soon as I saw this thing go to 97, and I was bidding 96, guys, I was like, oh, I got to get this out, Now we only have 20% left on Ford. And then look at this Microsoft trade as well. Like, there it is, short on Biden. Like, this is part of the plan, man. We take the short right at 330, and then we cash it out at the bottom. So just as Neil was saying, we did it right there. Again, good trade for me on that one. Now let's just wait, man. I mean, I don't know. We could check back on NVIDIA. That probably made a nice low. That would have been a great stock to pull into here off that 260, 270. It just ripped up 4 pennies right there today. So that is a good trade to go up to the upside right here. I don't know what is going on with, thank you, Natty Chen, with the chat blowing up apparently. That's good. I don't mean to do that. We could just stay on focus here about trading. I know you have Palantir. I keep seeing Henry.
I'm out of Palantir.
Oh, you are out of Palantir. So there it goes.
That was the first one I got out of.
Yeah, and they said this was the mistake of the day here for me. But look at that 95. Remember when I was like, I wanted to go short here, 95? Against that 95 on Palantir. Look how good that bottom was right up there to the upside. So should have had that, missed that opportunity, Palantir. We like it a lot to the upside. We did have a good out though, man. With imbalances, hold on, let's not go to Valeria right now. The imbalances are coming out right now in 1 second, so let's hold off on that. Oh, we do have ARCA here. Oh, I have to quickly get that out. Now we'll wait to see what happens with the imbalances coming out in 3, and 2, and 1. And here we go. Where will this market go? Let's move this over to C. The NASDAQ starting to go upside. We have Twitter with a sell. We have, let's see, what is Twitter doing on that sell? It's going to take too long to load. Shouldn't have done that. Intel with a buy. Other than that, I don't see, there's Apple probably starting this off. Apple with a bid as well. They're going to the high side. Intel with a bid. I don't see too much else on there. LVS with a buy. So that's your imbalances. And with that being said, let's quickly go over to Miss V.
Hey guys, it's the very last o'clock alert for today. So if you didn't like this video yet, please do so right now. I see a lot of nice comments in the chat. Thank you so much, family. So please put the love into the like button and help us get at least 1,500 likes. Back to you, Sean.
All right, we just got up. Thank you, Ms. V. It's always great to have you back, so thank you for that. All right, so right here, we just got out at 08, so, or 07, I think it was there, or was that 08? 08, so we got out at 08 there on Ford. It just goes right back, and again, out of 80% down here, right? And then just took the last bit out right there. So, hey, there it is, man. Some of the trades we take don't work. It's all about time frame. You got to get out when they're there. We smelt that was that. And then look at Virgin Galactic, right? I mean, we were basically married to the position down here, don't tell my wife, down here to 1040. We talked about that. But then all of a sudden, we flipped the script again, you know? Like it held the 50s. When it holds the 50s, it's as clear as day. We get out there, well, sorry, it was holding up here, sorry. It was holding 55. Then it goes down, holds the 50s. Now you're going back up to the upside. So we got out there at 63 and now holding one small piece for what we hope to be a flush back in here for the close. Man, I am exhausted today. What a fantastic day here. I hope you guys are having some good luck with the market. And if not, hey.
What's
okay? Something's blocked.
I don't know what
for Trader Pratt, but
let's
just keep going. Yeah, talk to Greg.
I'm gonna quickly use because you mentioned Twitter was a sell for 1.7 million.
Yep.
And you see me jump into a short trade. We've talked about this setup probably a million times, and a lot of times we don't even get into it. But you had a spike up into what the high of the day was at 94 on a sell and bounce. So at that point, I'm just making a quick reversal play. Like I'm just wanting to short it on that spike. It's the wrong direction, by the way, because I mean it's a sell and bounce and it went upside. But if it breaks the 37, I'm not going to be stubborn about it. I'm just looking to see if it makes a quick little pullback before 355 or into 355. So a lot of times you'll see me talk about this and then maybe not even get the trade. But we'll see what happens in Twitter. It should be a quick in and out. I just have that. I've tightened stops in Virgin Galactic. I haven't done it and probably won't in C. But do have to worry about the fact that, hey, guess what? We have 5 minutes left. If it comes back down to 147, 148, I am going to have to try to take this out. Otherwise, looks like that's going to end the day very, very strong. Something to note for tomorrow. I already mentioned Uber is looking pretty strong. I actually, like I said, I would have loved to be able to take this trade tomorrow off at 36. But it does make the breakout and start to carry through. So obviously it's still going. I still think it's a bit of a long for the next couple of days, but we might not get the level that we love. Brendo, we still have some earnings.
All right, we showed this a little earlier, but let's make it official, guys. Few earnings we didn't actually show this one a little earlier, but let's make it official. Few earnings for tonight and tomorrow morning.
Why they didn't show this one in the first place? There's Shopify. So we were wondering if Shopify was on there, remember? It is on there. I don't know if it's new. I'm not sure if I saw it before, but there's Shopify on there. We are going to look for that. And I don't think we had Upstart on, but we may have. Upstart's another name that we talked about earlier. We thought that maybe there was that release of said earnings because of what Affirm did. So
now look at it.
I'd be very, very nervous as an Upstart. Like if you're going to play Upstart right now, I mean, we'll have Daniel Shea on Thursday, but that's definitely one. I mean, I know it's going to be implied volatility on that's going to be huge. But Upstart definitely would be the most spicy one on that list for me. And then we'll wait to see what Roblox has to say. So you're going to look for daily active users. You're going to look to see, not turning profitable, but you're going to look to see what kind of moves they're talking about moving forward. Because you did see Disney, Nike, McDonald's, a lot of different companies stepping into the metaverse. And I feel like Roblox, every time I sit there and play it with my daughter, I feel like this is a perfect opportunity for me to walk right into. You can take that off, guys. Yeah, there we go. Thanks.
People could still be digesting it.
Yeah, they could be digesting it for sure. Digestives have those. It's nice to dip those into tea or something. But I feel like Roblox has a great opportunity.
That was random, but true.
Yeah, exactly. Great opportunity to invest in the metaverse. And then the point I was getting at was like I'm walking down streets and it's like there's a coffee shop that looks exactly like Starbucks, but it's called like, this is in Brookhaven, I think, if any of you guys are playing that. It's called something else, but close enough to Starbucks. But that could say Starbucks. So,
well, I mean, eventually.
Exactly. So I'm feeling like
they get paid.
As soon as they make these deals, like Nike, they already have that deal. So we'll wait to see if there's any more talk about that. But that is what it is. NVIDIA, I didn't see NVIDIA on that list. People asking if they're reporting.
No,
I believe they're tomorrow evening. So what we just looked at today
we'll trade it Thursday.
Yeah, PM tonight, AM tomorrow is what's on the earnings board. And I'm basically out of everything, man. Virgin Galactic, we have a 7-cent winner. We was hoping that it was going to crash back in. Yeah. We'll put a bid here around 68.70. But hey, Virgin Galactic today, we'll go boom as another profitable stock for us. And we end the day at our highest spot. Could have made a little more if we got out of Ford at the very bottom. But we're pretty happy today.
Yeah, and here's Twitter. So like that little play off the imbalances, it comes back down, gives you a 1-to-1, maybe in the mid 80s here. Not really much of a fall. So I just saw it went from 1.7 million shares to sell to 2 million to sell, which is kind of the wrong direction at 355. So when I see that, I am just going to, oh, wait a minute, hold on a second. Yeah, that's me getting out of the trade. So usually at 355, when you get some of that pairing off imbalances, I'd like to see that go smaller, meaning it's getting paired and then maybe even flipping to a bid, who knows. But it moved up on a sell imbalance and then decided to not move down when it got even bigger. So I have no idea what's going on. I'm just going to get out of Twitter. I'm still in 2 positions as well. Like I'm still in the Virgin Galactic. I tightened up my stop. And then SC looks like it wants to break out. So Uber pulled back and then broke out. SC looked like it was good to go, and then it starts breaking out as well. So, kind of the reaction, I think any slowdown that we had, it had 1,000,000% to do with, simply Biden coming on and stalling the move, and then it was back to business as normal. So you had to take advantage of some of those plays. That's why you got to take some profit. Like there's no way you can hold out for the entire home run, knowing that you have the end of the day coming and, the speech was going to be ended. And to that point, with only 3 minutes to go here, I did want to quickly, it's going to adjust some orders, but I wanted to quickly check back in on Tesla, which was one of the names which we're looking to see how it held up at VWAP. That is right back towards that high of the day. So, everything was basically back to where it was as if nothing had happened the second he was off the podium there, and potentially now even breaking out going into the close.
So here we go, Virgin Galactic, out right there. And I did want to say what's up to spend here. Yeah, I did like The Rock. We talked about The Rock yesterday. I thought it was a pretty cool Super Bowl introduction there. And you've been a WWE Fit since N64 days? Yeah, I mean, I remember playing WrestleFest. If you guys remember that game, an arcade game, WrestleFest, where you could be Big Boss Man in Cobb County and things like that. And then I had... in my N64, there was an awesome WCW game. It's called... I forget who it was, but it had the Wolf Pack in there. You could have Sting with different colors, WCW. Yeah, I love Sting. And I feel like Sting is in our rafters here somewhere right now. Oh, it's Mark in the rafters.
He doesn't come off the top rope.
So he doesn't, or carry a baseball bat. But there we go, guys. Thank you again for all the support as we are now flat, heading in with only 2 minutes left. The NASDAQ, a monster day today. Let's just check back on oil quickly. CL. You got to do this. Like, I can't just type in oil or anything. We got to go to the actual futures contract here. Obviously, it's closed since 2:30, but we will see here what is oil. Yeah, so there it is. Just want to check it out. It is closed right now. You could see it did top out today at 95. Obviously, in the morning when the market was worried a little bit about Russia there, and then or yesterday, I guess, back and forth there. Oil's at the highs, but here it is since the close at 2:30. Not much action at all since Biden's speech. So, oil kind of just sitting this one out. But there's the move off the open in oil, all the way back down to 90 and 75, back up to 92 in closing. Remember, these are the closing spikes here at 2:30. It is closed now, just electronically traded, so not traded right now at the NYMEX. So we'll have to wait for that for tomorrow. But oil's still holding up at $92. I see.
I love you, Sven, who's saying Goldberg, the one true GOAT.
That's right.
I mean, everybody knows the real GOAT is Norman Smiley. I know it. You know it. You all know it, Norman Smiley.
The wiggle, Norman Smiley there. Yeah, we love that. And Goldberg, someone did an awesome thing of me with Batista for the People's Trader, but this is Goldberg.
It's The Rock. Oh, it's The Rock.
Oh, yeah, The Rock. Yeah, the first one was The Rock. Sorry. This one is Goldberg. The other one is The Rock. You can see the Brahma Bull on him.
Yeah, exactly.
But right there. Okay, yeah, we love Goldberg. The Spear. You come to Toronto and do our Trader TV get-together, you will get speared. So get ready for that.
We actually have the room now that you could have a rest of
well, Rude's my bodyguard, so he's going to be there. So you guys want to spear me, that's fine. Okay, with only 10 seconds left, here we go. It's Miss V.
She's back.
Men in Black here. Miss V, get ready to rock and roll with only 3, 2, and 1. Ring that bell to close it out. And thank you. And wow, Microsoft up to $300.65 as a lot of these stocks start to rally. And this is where we pretend like, I don't know how the market was today.
What happened there?
I don't know what happened with oil that I was just covering 5 seconds ago. So let's ask Brendan, how were the markets today?
We got to make it official, right? So let's make it official. S&P 500 at 1.6 to end the day. Nice little bump there right at the end of the day. 1% for the Dow, 2.5%. For the NASDAQ, leading the way, yeah, there's oil. Ugly for crude, but I mean, 7-year highs again this week. 4.5, 6.8 there for Bitcoin and not data, but Ethereum, guys.
I'm going to say this: impressive end of the day. But whoever liquidated the bottom of Upstart, I hope they knew something, because if they didn't.
Well, even if they did, it's pretty stupid liquidation. You come to the chart here, like why did we have no idea why Upstart went down to $99 right there. Yeah. That's what Neil is talking about there. If anything happens to Upstart in the next couple minutes, we'll get it to you. Or we love Ultimate Warrior. What's up, Stop Console Wars there? Shout out to Ultimate Warrior. I like Mr. Perfect, Kurt Hennig as well. There's so many.
Yeah, we could go on.
Kurt Angle as well. We can go on and on and on.
Bret
the
Hart.
Olympic hero.
Bret Hart.
Bret Hart. I mean, Christian and Edge, Canadian legends as well. But a big shout out to the man in green over there, Mr. Adidas himself, Trader Pratt. Grow that hair like I cannot. So there we go. Trader Pratt will be growing that hair out. It'll be Platinum Pratt very, very soon. Obviously, a big thanks to Neil and to Brendan, but you guys see them a lot. And a big thank you and welcome back to Ms. V, who's back there on the desk. And before I forget, obviously, there he goes. The heart. We missed it by one day. It was Valentine's Day.
I know.
So Ms. V gets the new earrings, of course, there. So I'm going to steal those off her. Those are nice earrings. And then we go to the main board here with the main guys, Lucas and Tim. Thank you so much. Baklava Nation today. Thank you to Tim for that one.
Thank you.
And then we talked about cannolis, and we talked about a bunch of different things there. And some great bakeries in Etobicoke.
There were cannolis?
There was not cannoli, but we did have a talk about that. So we'll talk about that tomorrow. We don't have enough time right now. So thank you to everybody. Mark, you saw here up in the rafters. And I've never seen, honestly, like how consistent every day this guy is busy doing something and making the show better for you. So thank you to everybody. Brendan, you see Ms. V there, Neil and myself. Whoa, Upstart up to 115, so it looks like a good report.
Hate to be that guy.
We will see you guys tomorrow at 8:30. Have a blessed night and see you tomorrow. 8:30. Ciao, guys.
Bye, guys.